nobody can stop me. And that's why they're all afraid to fight me. Listen, Colby, you can run, but you can't hide.
You know, I just figured it was an insurance policy to go break up Usman's open workout.
He's had huge punches. A masterful effort out of Colby Covington.
Already fake news, man. We can do it right now. Where are you at?
So here he is, the champ. What do you have to say? You guys are face to face.
You're a loser. No one gives a about you. Everybody came to see me, so shut your mouth and listen to the champ. Damn, he's boring, man. I hope he doesn't open his mouth the rest of the fight camp.
It's very rare that I get to have a fight with someone that I genuinely don't care for.
Let's do it tonight. Let's do it right now. He's irrelevant, really, and after this weekend, no one's going to care about him anymore.
Once I get my hands on him, all this whole bravado, everything that he's doing is going to go out the window. I just feel my skin crawl.
Brazil, you're a dog. All you filthy animals suck.
I'm going to really get to show you guys what an African lion looks like.
Colby, Kamaru, you know exactly what I expect. I need you to fight hard. I want you to fight clean. If you want to touch, do it now. God bless.
Oh, man.
Marty fake news, man. You got so lucky last time.
Hey, close it. No, face. Marty fake.
There's a knockdown for Kamaru Usman. That's it. And still, Kamaru Usman.
This one is not just for me. This one is for the whole entire world right now.
He knew he could wrestle with me and striking with me, and that was his best chance, and, you know, we saw what happened there. I'm a bigger, I'm stronger, I'm faster, I'm more explosive, a more dynamic fighter than he is.
Of all the superlatives.
You stay off the tracks when the train's coming through, Junior. Don't matter if it's a Trump train or the Colby train. Get out the way!
This is a prime and primal Colby Covington.
Something happened.
Colby Covington with a legacy-building win here tonight.
See what happens next time. Your best night, that was my worst night, and I
What
still
happens
beat
next
you.
time?
Where you at, Usman? Speaking of spineless cowards, Marty fake newsman, Street Judas, we got unfinished business.
The reason I'm the best in the world is because my mind is stronger than everyone in the division.
Like you what from who? This is raw American steel.
There's no country that I've been in the world that I haven't had guys come up to me and tell me that they can't wait for me to kill this guy.
There's nowhere to run, and there's nowhere to hide. I'm coming for you. You're next!
Is the beef real? Yes, absolutely.
Wait till I see you next time, Marty fake newsman. You're dead!
Welcome to New York City and Fight Week here on BT Sport. This is your official weigh-in show for UFC 268. Those weigh-ins are going to take place just behind our heads momentarily. I'm Adam Catterall. It is a pleasure as always to be in your company, and look who I managed to drag out of bed at an ungodly hour. It is, of course, Mr. Nick Peet and the Hall of Famer, Mr. Michael Bisping. I don't know about you boys, all right? Now, a lot of people think that we're on a bit of a jolly here, right?
No.
But last night, I haven't slept like that since I was 6 years of age, mate. I was tucked up in bed for 8 o'clock, ready to rock and roll for this show right now.
You're saying up bright and early. I was up when it was pitch black. I did 3.5-mile run. I did chest and traps, 500 sit-ups. So you might be a dirty stop out, mate, but I'm a professional, Nick.
Listen, we need to let the people know, Nicholas, that this is the bad influence on our team.
100%. 100%. Listen, before Mike came on the scene, we were good boys.
That's
in bed
it.
every night before 8 o'clock.
Listen,
You know.
I'm trying to dispel this.
There's a reason why he's a Hall of Famer, let me tell you.
You're as bad as George St. Pierre. Are you intoxicated? Shut up! If my reputation wants to get ruined, all you got to do is go to Darren Till's Instagram page.
Listen, boys, we've got some serious action that's about to take place on the scales, and obviously ahead of tomorrow night in Madison Square Garden. We've got we've got more than three, but we've got three major fights that a lot of people are talking about at home. Obviously, we've got the main event, which is the welterweight championship. The strawweight championship's on the line in the co-main event, and what people are classing as the people's main event between Chandler and Gaethje has massive ramifications for the lightweight division. We've all been speaking to the fighters throughout the course of the week. I'll get to your thoughts off the back of those interviews in a minute, but first of all, let's talk about the main event. It's a rematch, Mike, obviously between Usman, Covington. These boys are absolutely pumped up off the back of that press conference yesterday.
I mean, listen, the first fight was absolutely sensational, and I was looking forward to the rematch, of course, but after that press conference yesterday, my excitement level has gone gone absolutely through the roof. The confidence on Colby Covington is insane. And we know before this, we didn't see much of him. Obviously, that's because he had his nose to the grindstone. He was in camp doing everything he can because he's under a lot of pressure. He's got to win this fight because look at that. Putting Masvidal to sleep, destroying Gilbert Burns. He's already beat Colby Covington once. I mean, this is an insane fight, and I cannot wait for it.
Nick, that's the thing that I take away from it yesterday. The confidence of Colby Covington, given the fact what happened in the first fight. He's coming into this as a guy that didn't win that fight. The back and forth between them was absolutely top class.
It was brilliant, you know. You're talking about Covington. We've not seen him for so long, as Mike said. We said at the start of the week, we said, where's he been? What's he been up to? What's his shtick going to be like? Is he going to be the same Colby Covington? Is he going to be a different guy? He's like Colby Covington 2.0. He's even better. He's even funnier than before. You know, he had Usman a couple of times. He had him rocked. He had him. You know, he was shaking a little bit on on the stage. But you can see here. Listen, he's only had one fight since that loss, but he's all about the pressure. He's all about the action, and he fully believes that he was competing against two men inside that octagon. Whether we believe him or not, it doesn't matter. Psychologically, he said, right, the referee was against me that night, the fans were against me that night, nobody wanted me to win. I'm back to put the record straight this time around.
Yeah, listen, it's absolutely fantastic. I'm really hyped. Yeah, all that good stuff, but that suit, what was he wearing? Come on. Listen, maybe in Miami, but if you're bouncing down the streets of Clitheroe wearing that, you're going to get filled in pretty quick.
On to the core main event, and this, in total contrast really, because there is a bit of animosity between Rose and Weili, but very, very different to the way that they obviously propel that to the crowd. Yesterday, Rose Namajunas, stoic, mate, stoic.
And I respect her so much because she's the real deal. I mean, when you see her fight, I mean, she's not overselling herself. She says, I'm the champion, I'm the best, all the rest of it. She is. The way she moves, the way she fights, the intensity. But as you said, she's like something from a movie, and she could really go on and become a movie star. She sat there staring dead straight forward with a look of a killer in her eyes. She didn't react to none of the nonsense. Colby Covington and Kamaru Usman had everyone in stitches, not even a smile on her face. She's here for business and business only. Zhang Weili on the flip side, of course, a tremendous competitor. Whew, what a fight.
We've just seen it then though, that knockout. That head kick, that was only in April. You know, that wasn't a long time ago. And look, this is what Weili's all about. She's a machine, of course. She's a wrecking machine. She's so strong. It's just relentless pressure. That's what she puts on her opponents. But she didn't get the opportunity to do any of this against Rose the first time around, purely because of the fact that Rose caught her with that kick, that shin to cranium in April, and it's tough to recover from that. And of course, Weili's gone away. She's based down in the US now. She's got a new coaching team working with Henry Cejudo. Of course, she's saying all the right things. But once again, I'll repeat what I said at the start of the week. The first minute is critical, because in that first minute, all she'll be thinking is, don't get kicked in the head again.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen. It's not. They could fight 100 times. I don't see that happening like that. Of course, Rose can still kick. She can still knock her out. But come on. That was like the perfect storm. I doubt we'll see that again.
Yeah. What I did like, though, from Weili yesterday, she seemed extremely relaxed. Loads of personality coming through. Yes, of course, she's still learning English. Even through the interpreter, she seems like she's in a good place coming into this fight, given what happened first time round.
Yeah, and of course that's critical. You know, she's got to be. And that's maybe why they've taken the fight straight away. Maybe why they haven't pushed back and said, you know what, we're going to go and have another fight first before we do Rose again. That would have been kind of the sensible option. But maybe they've gone away, they've worked with it and gone, you know what? She's not affected by that knockout. She's fine. Let's get her straight back in.
Yeah, but the thing is, to work your way back up, you got to go through 2 or 3 killers.
Exactly.
She might as well take that opportunity straight away and say, you know what, that was a bad night at the office. I got caught. Everybody can get caught. It happens now and again. And then, of course, training with Henry Cejudo, no wonder this confidence is sky high. She has learned so much about mixed martial arts and how to put the different arts together. Prior to that fight, I have it on good authority. She was blown away by some of the most basic of drills that they just weren't doing in China, but out here in the States and of course in the UK, places that have a longer history of mixed martial arts training, they're a little bit more advanced in the drills and the type of scenarios that they put their fighters in. She's been doing that, coming into this one very confident.
Now, we've got a bout order change for people that maybe weren't with us yesterday and keeping up to date with everything. We were obviously going main event, core main event, and then the one just before that was always going to be Gaethje versus Chandler. That's changed now. This is going to be kicking off the start of the numbered card, Chandler versus Gaethje, and that's all because obviously Trevor Whitman is connected to all three of those fights. A good move, actually, for his preparations for the Rose Namajunas title fight.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's incredibly hard if you're coaching the top three people. Sorry, the top, you know what I'm saying? Three people from the top three fights, and it's the last three. That's an incredible amount of pressure, and it's also a little unfair to the other fighters that's about to go out there.
In title fights as well.
Yeah, in title fights, because, you know, those final moments with your coach, when the mental preparation and the last little bits of warm-up, they're crucial. But if your coach is out there cornering somebody else, you're missing that. So they've moved Gagey Chandler to the first fight of the night because of that kind of a more logistical thing. Michael Chandler has it convinced because he's the star and he's going to come out there and knock everybody out, and there'll be two frogs in a blender, to use your term. And that is correct. It is a sensational fight, and I do think it starts the pay-per-view with a ridiculous bang. Whether or not it was a logistical reason or not, it's a smart move.
It is a very smart move. That will obviously kick us off. We'll then have, obviously, the Burgos Billy Q fight, and then it will be followed up by Frankie Edgar in his hometown. We'll get to them a little later on throughout the course of this show, but let's get stuck in to the way that this one's going to play out between Chandler versus Gaethje. Let's start with Justin Gaethje. He is angry coming into this fight.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I mean, he was sitting there yesterday as well, also very, very focused, but look at what he does. I mean, the punching power in this guy is really, really good. He puts together long combinations. We know about the wrestling. That's almost like cliche to talk about. He doesn't use it. This was one of his finest performances against Tony Ferguson. Tony's as game as they come, and he walked forward the entire time, and in the end, he just couldn't take any more. Well, in fact, Tony could, but the referee said no, because a human being should not be taking that kind of damage. Look at him here. I mean, God bless Tony Ferguson, but Gaethje put a beating on Tony Ferguson like we've never seen.
And nobody had done that to Tony at that time. Obviously, he's lost since to Charles Oliveira. That was the moment where everybody went, wow, Justin Gaethje.
And that might have been the straw that broke the camel's back in terms of Tony Ferguson's career.
Yeah, maybe.
We don't know. I don't say that with disrespect to Tony, but you can only take so much, and you never know. Maybe that was it, if you get what I'm saying.
Well, if you remember, Tony Ferguson versus Habib, that was the backwards and forwards. The fight kept falling off. Is he the guy to be Habib? And then Gaethje went and done that. Actually, this is the guy that could be Habib, and that's what makes it even more painful for him, that so many people have jumped in line ahead of him since he lost to Habib. He's here to prove a point this weekend.
One of those guys that has jumped in front of him is indeed Michael Chandler. He's been in the UFC 13 months. We saw him on Fight Island weigh in for a fight that didn't materialise for him. Obviously, that was Habib versus Justin Gaethje. In the 9 months that he's had this year have been up, down, and now he's got an opportunity to get himself back in that mix.
Yeah, exactly, to jump in and take on, his first fight in the UFC. They put him in with Hooker, who was a legit contender in this division, and look what he does. Bang, big overhand right, finishes the fight. So that's a top contender. Then he goes straight in for a title opportunity against Charles Oliveira. He's winning this first round, as you can see, pushing Oliveira back, aggressive punching, scary if you want to try that with Gaethje.
Scored a 10-8.
Big, huge round, and then gets caught in the second round. Otherwise, he'd be champion right now had he not been caught. So
yeah, but the thing is,
a good fight, Mike. Come on.
No. It's an incredible fight, and I'm so pumped for it. And both guys are saying the right things. They're insanely confident, even if you're walking out wearing half leather, half denim pants. Not sure about that look. Again, Clitheroe, you'd last 2 minutes. But you're right, incredible fight. But the thing I was going to say is, Chandler has a history of getting knocked out kind of early in the fights. If you look at his record, there's a few times over the course of his career he's been knocked out in the first round. There's obviously against Oliveira, he got knocked out in the second round. Yeah. I'm not saying that so much as a negative. That's because of the style that he brings. He goes forward and it's very much kill or be killed, and it's super exciting, but it doesn't always go his way.
No.
Who shoots first?
Neither.
Well,
neither.
Gaethje had an expression for that, which I won't repeat on TV, but he said the first one to do that is a little beep.
Neither.
You don't think they'll be backwards steps at all?
I think the first person who shoots for the takedown, it's like surrendering the fight. It's like putting that message out there that I can't handle you on the feet. And I don't think either's ego will allow them to do that. Correct.
But when you're in there and you've got your bell rung and you're on the verge of getting knocked out, you're like, whoa, because all you want to do is clinch and get hold of them. And if you can shoot and take them down, there ain't no punches coming back your way. So, to answer your question, I say Michael Chandler shoots pretty quickly in the first round, because Gaethje's going to go forward like a maniac, light him up, blitz his face. Chandler's going to shoot.
They both are. It's not getting out the first round. They're both going to go for it.
Listen.
Excuse me while I dab myself.
That's Hollywood, that, isn't it? That's Hollywood.
Where's my makeup?
If you do that in Clitheroe, you get knocked out.
Not if you're him, you're all right. Listen,
dear.
We've got an action-packed show for you, so as you're enjoying this back in the UK over your lunchtime, do stick with us, because hopefully we'll be here for some time. We've got lots of different talking points to get stuck into that are connected not just to this, but maybe a bit of last week. Hopefully, I saw Glover Teixeira, by the way, in
The champ.
in the coffee shop this morning, because he's going to be cornering Alex Berhada, who's making his UFC debut. So hopefully we'll be able to grab the light heavyweight champ and get him on the show. We'll be speaking to various trainers. Hopefully some of the fighters are going to come and join us as well. Loads of different narratives throughout the course of the show. So make sure you stick with us, enjoy yourself, get yourself something to eat, get yourself something to drink, and be with us for the whole show, because these weigh-ins are about to kick off in about a minute's time, just over our shoulder. And an interesting thing as well, which is becoming more and more prevalent with UFC weigh-ins, especially when there's title fights on the card. We have a fighter weighing in who isn't scheduled to fight, just in case something falls off. Today, Vicente Luque gets that opportunity for the main event.
And again, fantastic move. You know, some people have turned that down recently, and the UFC and some reporters and fans have been critical of people for turning down those opportunities, because, listen, more than likely, you know, the main event, both guys are going to make weight, there's going to be no issue. But if on the off chance that, God forbid, one of them gets sick or whatever happens, they don't make weight, and the other guy says, no, I'm not fighting him, there's a chance for Vicente Luque to step in and become champion of the world. And then the world is your oyster. You're making the money you always dreamed about. You're the guy on the top of the poster. Your name's in lights in Times Square. I mean, come on. If you get the shot, take the shot.
Absolutely. And not only that, it just shows willing, doesn't it, to the UFC. If you're prepared to fly... Michael Chandler flew halfway across the world last year to weigh in for a fight that didn't happen for him, and look at the year that he's had this year. That's a good point.
Right.
That's the point to make with people like Vicente Luque doing that this weekend.
Of course.
Usman versus Covington 2. And we will begin the proceedings with the man around.
You can hear the dulcet tones of John Anik there in the background, just weighing in. And first on the scales this morning, ladies and gentlemen,
The Nigerian nightmare, Kamaru.
All business.
Oh,
There you
there
go.
it is. First one on the scale. And that's how you do it.
let's see where Kamaru
See,
was
that's
going
why
to say.
he's the champ.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you get out here, you make weight, and you start the hydration process, taking on the nutrients, and you're giving yourself the biggest advantage possible. These guys coming in, and the final minutes, they're giving themselves less time for the brain to be as safe as possible going into the fight, you know, and so you can take punches, you can deliver punches, you can go hard for 5 rounds.
It's an attitude thing as well, isn't it?
Exactly. It's the mentality.
Professionalism.
Yeah. Just puts that across. This is the pound for pound best fighter in the sport today. He's making a statement.
No, exactly.
Here we go.
169 pounds, the official weight.
Perfect.
Champion, Kamaru Usman.
All day.
And what he's done there, he's erred on the side of caution. He's made sure that he made 170 back in the room, and then by then he's drifted another pound, because a lot of the time when I used to weigh in, I'd get to like half a pound over, and we'd say, okay, by the time you get on the scale, that half a pound will be gone. But it's always a nerve-wracking process, because you're not entirely sure. Most of the time it pays off. Sometimes you get a shock.
Champion, Frankie Edgar.
Hometown hero. Here he is, Frankie Edgar.
Hall of Famer. No
What a
messing
guy.
about. He probably drove here this morning, didn't he? Got out of his own bed.
Jogged here. Me and him jogging down 5th Avenue.
135.6, the official
Wow.
weight for Frankie Edgar.
This could be the last time we ever see Frankie if it doesn't go well at the weekend, you know?
You said that the other day, and there is a possibility of that. You can't do this forever. And Frankie's had a Hall of Fame worthy career.
Incredible career. Lightweight champion, featherweight title contender twice, now in the bantamweight division.
Universally respected by fighters and fans, promotion, everyone. Anyone about mixed martial arts loves Frankie Edgar.
UFC
course.
strawweight champion, Thug Rose.
And again, see,
There you go.
what we just said about Kamaru, added on to Rose.
Absolutely, man. It's a mentality thing, this. When you see champions weighing in at this particular stage, straight in, the rehydration process starts, ready to rock and roll.
Well, guess what? I guarantee the next person is just engaging, because Trevor Whitman's in charge of all three,
Yes.
and he's running the show. Hold on, let's lay out. Stoic.
115 pounds, the official weight.
Still no smile from the champ.
Thug Rose.
I'm telling you,
All business.
Hollywood movie, she's the badass,
Yeah.
she's the killer.
G.I.
You know what I mean?
The new
Yeah,
G.I. Jane.
and it's like, she walks in, and you're a woman, you are terrified.
Next fighter to the scale, fan base excited to see this man back on the proving ground, the former UFC interim lightweight champion, Justin Gaethje.
You called
I
it.
mean,
You
listen,
called it.
in some places people call me Nostradamus or just Psychic Mikey. I don't predict these things, I just know them.
Sidekick Mikey is the new name I'm
It's
using
my
for you on
old
the
MC
show.
days.
Get
you know
that
what I
t-shirt
mean?
made. Let's get it on a t-shirt.
Would have won one too.
Official weight 155.6 for Justin Gaethje.
What an incredible accolade that for the gym. All
Of course.
straight through, no messing about. Bish, bash, bosh.
Yeah.
Let's get on with business.
All three of them as well.
That's how you handle yourself as a fighter and also as a coach, to have 3 guys in fights of this magnitude and to walk out there, and it sends a message to everybody. This is how you do it. Because all these people that fail to make weight, and I hear all their excuses, I don't buy any of them.
No.
I'm interested to see Edmund Shabazian back in action. He's kicking off the prelims on BT Sport. Make sure you come in and join us for this from midnight tomorrow.
Don't forget, this guy was a potential title contender for so long, and then he runs into Brunson, he runs into Hermansson. So he's on a 2-fight skid. Now he's on a 2-fight skid.
185.4. The official weight for Edmund
Talented kid, though. Very talented
talented
kid. It's just what's going on between the ears. Is he all in the game?
Well, it's not just that. His background, he's a very, very good striker. He just got exposed with his lack of well-roundedness. That's not to say he can't wrestle, but going up against the best guys in the wrestling department is going to cause issues.
You're excited about this fight because obviously he's taking on Shane Burgos. I know that we were previewing this fight earlier doors, Mike, but Billy Q, an opportunity here, especially on the main card of the pay-per-view.
Yeah, I'm telling you, because Billy Q's got a really exciting style. Hurricane Shane Burgos is one of my favourite fighters to watch.
For Billy Q.
There we go, Billy, good job.
These guys won't have to go looking for each other. Both native New Yorkers. Come on the main card at Madison Square Garden.
Where's Billy Q from, do you know?
He's from New York. He's based in Miami now, but he's originally from New York. Yeah.
Interesting style matchup because one's a banger and one's brilliant jiu-jitsu.
He's a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt. So
Live on UFC Fight Pass, Belsic Bogdasarian.
This is on the early prelims in the featherweight division. Melsik Bogdasarian taking on Bruno Souza.
Good old Melsik.
yeah, he's a former Glory kickboxer, another Glendale Fight Club, Armenian. So there's 2 of them on this same card, him and Shaibazian as well. So it's in good shape.
And this guy's a fast starter, very, very good kicks, always a lot of forward pressure, loads up on a lot of shots, though sometimes can be a little off balance. Has a very good attack, though.
Good that he hasn't failed to make weight featherweight in the past, so it's always nice when guys put that demon behind them.
Much more popular around these parts than this guy, back for the first time in a long time.
Here we go.
He's raging out.
Yeah.
Love this guy. Love his attitude, love his fighting style. I mean, he's so chill until he's not.
Let's not forget, this guy pushed Habib. I know that Habib won the fight. He
took it at late notice, didn't he?
He took it at late notice, but he went the full distance with Habib.
Beat Jorge Masvidal. You know, I'm telling you, don't forget about Raging Al, man. The guy's up there. He's world class. He's just, struggled to get the shine that he deserves.
Yeah.
But as you say, 5 rounds against Khabib.
Exactly, but he has been inactive since 2019, and in that time, since Habib, he's gone 1-2 with losses to Hooker and to Donald Cerrone, which,
The important factor, though, that you mentioned right at the start of this, he's a New Yorker, man.
Exactly.
They will go wild.
All these guys from New York, New Jersey, listen, this is home for them. This is Madison Square Garden's the Mecca. They drove here from their house. Their friends and family will be in the audience. They will all provide an extra 10% once that bell goes.
And it really does. That's part of the reason I was unbeaten in the UK, because when you've got the crowd on your side, you can just feel it. You can feel you have that extra. Well, it's almost an advantage. It's a mental thing, of course, but whenever everyone's on your side and you're on the floor and you're trying to get up and they're screaming and going crazy, of course it helps.
Of course.
John Allen on the scale. He's taking on Dustin Jacoby. Light heavyweight division. This again on the early prelims. What an opportunity for these guys. You know, there's a lot of attention at Madison Square Garden. We're a big numbered event like this.
205 pounds, the official weight for John Allen.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, Dustin Jacoby, I mean, this guy's a lot of fun to watch. Tremendous kickboxer. Actually competed in Glory for a while. Knockout power. Of course, last time we saw him was against the dentist, Darren Stewart. Unfortunately, it didn't go the way that Darren hoped. But Dustin Jacoby's
It's a good opponent for him, John Allen. John Allen's Brazilian from Shooter Box in Brazil, a gym with incredible history, but he is 0-2 in the UFC, so you'd like to think John Allen can get back on track here. Here's your boy.
Here he
this guy
is.
brings the action.
Guy, man.
No, I'm telling you, man, I never miss one of these guys' fights, probably because I'm calling them, so I've no choice but to be there. But every time I've done it, it's like I've got the best seat in the house. I love watching him fight. He's no nonsense, forward pressure, chin for days, knockout power, tremendous pace.
Yeah.
And just a cool guy.
Back home, from the Bronx.
Yeah.
it's going to be absolutely wild when he walks out. But he is 0 for 2. He's lost his last 2 fights, albeit both of them were fight of the night bonus check paying performances.
Fight of the year candidates, I'm telling you.
One half the featured prelim on ESPN News in the UFC's middleweight division and set to make his UFC debut here tomorrow, Alex Panetta.
Here we go. Now, obviously, everybody knows about the narrative of Alex Pereira. Fantastic in the world of kickboxing. The only man to have knocked out Israel Adesanya. He's beaten him twice, beaten him over a decision, and knocked him out as well.
Yeah, and I didn't know until you said a moment ago that he's training with Glover Teixeira.
Yeah.
Oh
What a
my
thing that
word.
is.
Talk about the perfect guy to coach him and turn him from a kickboxer to an MMA fighter, because that's always been Glover's advantage. You know, if one of his opponents are better than him in another field, another area, he can just exploit a weakness. So he's the perfect guy for Alex Berhada. Excited to see what he does tomorrow night.
Top of the prelims, Nick. What an opportunity for him to make a bit of a statement.
It's an incredible opportunity. Obviously, the stage is set for him. It's going to get a lot of traction because of the Adesanya history. But the UFC haven't given him a layup either. The UFC have matched him up with Michailidis, and Michailidis' background, he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, so they haven't given him a layup. They've said, okay, listen, you beat this guy, you're a real guy, we'll push you forward.
Well, welcome to the UFC.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? There's no gimmies. You know, it's like, okay, you're here, you got to prove yourself. Right? You want to get a chance at fighting Izzy, prove that you have what it takes to beat some of the other guys first.
Yep.
There's a lot of debutants that are obviously getting stuck into this card. What a wonderful opportunity there for Alex Pereira. Chris Curtis is just about to weigh in, and we've got our own Ian Gary as well coming a little bit later on as well. Just waiting for Chris.
This guy fights out of Extreme Couture in Las Vegas, known as the Action Man, 26-8, and he's on a 5-fight win streak. But as you say, this is his UFC debut. And
Not
Mr.
giving him an
Curtis,
easy one.
Get ready, you're about to get a big step up.
Phil Hawes is no mess, is he?
Ooh, Phil Hawes is tremendous.
6 pounds for Chris Curtis.
He looks happy.
Oh, he's giving it. Well,
Yeah,
okay.
well, where have I seen that before? A few fighters do that one.
It's the Mr. It's the Mr.
Oh,
Olympia thing, isn't it?
Mr. Olympia pose.
Mr. Olympia pose. Yeah, I think it's the old Ronnie Coleman job. You
It's
know
like,
what I mean?
relax, you're not quite there, buddy. I mean, you're in great shape, better than me with my shirt off. But Mr. Olympian, I don't know about that.
Chris Barnett making his way to the scales. If you're just tuning into us in the UK at the moment, we're going to be hopefully bringing in plenty of guests to come and join us on the show. So make sure you stick with us when there's a little bit of a lull in the action as people are waning, because I know that you want to make sure that all the title fights are on. We are going to be speaking to others. I've just seen Aljamain Sterling, the bantamweight champion. Hopefully he'll be joining us on the show very shortly. I'm sure he's got lots to say about Mr. Yan recently, of what's been going on there.
Chris Barnett
Should be up to Ally Kinter as well, I think.
Teammates, the lads.
Chris Barnett there making weight. He trains himself. He's out of his own gym, Barnett Taekwondo, and yet to pick up his first UFC win. But I tell you what, he might be smiling now, but he'll have the fans against him when the bell goes, because he's facing Gian Vellante again, another Aljo teammate, another local boy. That's going to have the fans on his
Dance
side.
for us. That's what we want. Little
Yeah,
dance. He's
but
excited
I
to
hate
be
to
here.
say the fact he trains himself could be partly why he's yet to win inside the UFC, because when you get to this level, you've got to start making sacrifices. You've got to start spending some money and bringing in the best people. This fight is going to be good.
Well, in the previous show, mate, you picked this one out. You picked this one out as your one to watch on the prelims between Ally Kinter and Bobby Green, who's weighing in
Bobby
now.
Green's the man. He fights. I love his style and the output and the striking. He's got excellent wrestling as well, and he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's an angry man. He came on my podcast, and I didn't say anything insulting, but he was like, anything you say, he's quick to attack and he's quick to... And that's how he is in the octagon as well. Do you know what I mean?
Come on in, bro.
Oh!
Looking good.
Yeah, cool. As they are continuing to weigh in, we have just been joined by the bantamweight champion of the world. How are you, Mr. Aljamain Sterling? Are you well?
I'm doing good. It's a great day, and of course we got our teammate Ally Quinta back in action.
Well, that's where we're going to start, my friend. We've obviously seen him. He's a resident of this fine city. How excited is he to put on a bit of a show at Madison Square Garden for us tomorrow night?
I think he's excited just to be back into action, you know. So for him to come back and compete against a great guy like Bobby Green, I think it's a fun fight for the fans. And they were supposed to fight before a couple years ago, and it's finally happening.
It's a great fight. But we don't want to hear about that.
No, we don't.
We want to hear about you and your mental state and how badly you want to get your hands on Piotr Yan.
I cannot
Double
wait.
mics.
I'm excited to get back out there and compete against him. He's a great competitor, man. At the end of the day, for me, it's all love in the sense of I respect anyone who's willing to step into the cage, but at the end of the day, my job is to break him, beat him, and that's what I plan to do. I want to unify the belts and remove all doubt and shut everyone the fuck up.
Ooh,
I
there we
like it.
go.
We've gone on
Bleep
the
that out,
stream there.
BT.
I
I
like
got
it,
one
like
more
it.
follow-up and I'll let you lads get in. How did it make you feel when you saw that they put another ruby in his belt? Did you see that?
That didn't make any sense to me, but you know what? I don't make the rules. At the end of the day, I look at this. You can't do MMA math, but for him and TJ both to take 25 minutes to have to get through Corey, when I put him down, like I said, on my best day, man, I can beat anybody and make them look like that. So if people want to keep down me, let them keep down me. Just make sure you show up and pay. And I'm going to make sure I show up and put on a show for the fans. And that's, at the end of the day, that's all that matters to me.
Where's the health at the moment? Obviously, you've had surgeries and various things like that, and the recuperation, how are you feeling?
I guess people think I stubbed my toe. You know, they think I stubbed my toe on the dresser or something.
You've had the same,
Listen,
you've had the same thing, haven't you?
I'm in agony this week with my neck. I need to have neck surgery again. I've got the big scar here. I've had the exact same thing. I had the exact same thing, and people don't realise. When I saw that, I'm like, listen, I know you can kind of create a narrative and say, oh, he's having surgery now because he's trying to duck him. It's like, no, when you're the champion of the world, that's where you've wanted to be your entire career. You've worked your absolute backside off to get there. You don't want to bloody lose it because you're going in half-cocked. So I totally get it. You get the surgery, you come back 100%, and then you defend the belt. Yeah. But how does it make you feel when you see these negative comments and this unfair narrative that's being put forward?
It's definitely unfair, but people, they would never understand unless you're in our shoes, you know? So at the end of the day, they don't know what we go through just to even get out of bed to put on a show, and just to let alone train, just so we could get to the fight. So win or lose, I was going to get that surgery regardless. It just happened that they wanted the rematch really soon, May or June. I tried to go train. I couldn't work out. I had some atrophy in my arm, so I had to go get it taken care of. And I thank God I did, because I feel night and day in terms of just overall health. I could stand, I could talk, I can sit, I can walk, I could do everything again. Pain-free, nerve-free, none of those radiating pains down my arm, none of those symptoms, muscle weakness. You know, so I'm just glad that I have good health again. And if people want to see a half-ass Sterling fight again, like that last fight was probably one of my worst performances of late, you know, so I want to go out there and show what I could do in terms of all the guys I beat. Jimmy Rivera's one-sided, the Pedro Munoz one-sided, all these fights. Corey Sandhagen one-sided.
I think we've got some issues here with the scale. Sorry, Aljo, to butt in, but it looks like the challengers failed to make weight in the strawweight title fight. Sorry to cut away there, but
drama in the.
Looks like they're going to get a towel out and strip her down and see if they can get. Did we get a call on what the weight was first time around? She was 0.2 over.
Well, 0.2. I would say the fight's still going to be on, but she might have to go and get back on the treadmill for a few minutes.
Yeah. And she had to take the mask off, you know. So you got to get all that weight off, all that extra
weight. Get the mask off, get naked, maybe go take a pee.
Joe, before we let you go, can we get a time scale on when you think you will be ready to defend the belt?
Well, I originally asked for January. I spoke to Sean, and I think Jan wants a little bit more time to kind of relax himself.
Because that's the only fight we want to see.
Exactly, that's the only fight that needs to happen. You know? So he was asking for February. What was it? February, March. And that seems like the most open date, so I think that's what's probably going to happen, if not February.
There we go. 115
next week.
125, I mean. There you go. 115.
So February, March, and I'll be back in action.
Can't wait. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time, my friend. We wish you well with the recovery and what have you, and we can't wait to see you back in action.
Yes.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
You're a gentleman now.
Nice one. Aljamain Sterling there, bantamweight champion, joining us for a brief moment. Let him get on with the rest of his day. Obviously, he's part of Ali Kinter's camp.
What did they make there, Mike, about Weili?
She was only 0.2 of a pound over.
Could that have been like you said earlier? She came down from a room, she'll walk it off by the time you get there?
100%, because what you don't do is kill yourself further than what is necessary. So a lot of the time you do drift. And as I say, half a pound, quarter of a pound. Sometimes it's like, okay, well, you're a quarter of a pound over. You're not getting on the scale for 45 minutes. You know, if you keep a tracksuit on or a hoodie or whatever, you're probably, because you've still worked your body up, you're still sweating internally, you know what I mean? So a lot of the time when you see just that little bit, that's what it's down to. There's Chito Vera, like a pro.
Late championship weight from the sound of it.
Yeah, 135. He came in at 135. You got Frankie Edgar, who's already weighed in at 135.6. Both of those boys on.
As Mike's been telling us all week about Chito, he's all business. He wants to win the title.
Yeah.
And just turning up and getting championship weight. He's allowed to 136, but he's making 135. Boom. Says it all.
Here we go. Let's see what the future's got to do. You spent a little bit of time with him yesterday, Nick, walking around Central Park, doing the old interview and what have you. This guy he is confidence personified, isn't he?
Mate, go and watch that interview on BT Sport, and throughout the whole thing, think to yourself, this guy is 23 years of age. That is all.
And this is his debut.
His head
at Madison Square Garden.
In such a strong place. So confident.
And
And look at the
weight.
shape he's in.
Championship weight.
Yeah, but look at him, he looks fantastic.
He's 6'3", and he's making championship weight at welterweight. It's unbelievable. But the strength of mind is incredible. Honestly, hopefully we get him over here, put a mic in his face, and he'll blow you guys away.
There you go.
He went the wrong way on the way.
Easily done. Listen.
Exit stage left.
Just a quick one on pressure, because young lad, 23 years of age, he doesn't seem like he feels pressure, but Madison Square Garden on a big numbered card.
He's never
world
been
title
to a
fights.
UFC. Never even attended a UFC.
So here's the thing though, and I always say this, it's easy to ooze bravado and confidence from talking to yourself or to the media or even at a press conference and say, oh, I'm going to knock this guy out, I'm not scared, all the rest of it. And you can lie to your fans, you can lie to your family, you can lie to your coaches, but you can't lie to yourself.
Yeah.
When I fought Dan Henderson at UFC 204 in the middle of the night, I was trying to take a nap and I did the same thing. Ooze bravado, do you know what I mean? But I was trying to take a nap and I was led there and I was just thinking, last time I stepped into an octagon with this guy, I got flatlined, unconscious for a long time, and the whole world laughed, you know, and so the pressure builds in, and
And now you're doing it in front of your hometown.
Yeah, but
You
well,
know what I
exactly.
mean?
There's
That
that. But
pressure.
for him, you know, never been to a UFC. When he gets there and he realizes the spectacle, I mean, this is starting to give him a taste of it, of what to expect. But you know, I hate to say it, pressure makes diamonds, but it does,
true.
and you either crumble and get crushed, or you live up to that pressure and you put on the performance of a lifetime.
Well, we've got a little bit of a lull in the action there with waiting for some more fighters. I'm just having a quick look. We haven't seen Colby Covington as of yet, and we haven't seen Michael Chandler. They're the only ones, I think, from the main card that we haven't seen. Everybody else has been through. We've already seen the champ, we've already seen Rose Namajunas, and we've obviously got the bout between Frankie Edgar and Marlon Vera done and dusted. Burgos and Quarantillo has already gone through, and Justin Gaethje's come through as well. So we're just waiting for Michael Chandler and Colby Covington. Do you make anything about that, especially with Colby challenging for the title once again?
No, I don't. As I say, perfect world, you want to be one of the first on the scale, get that done, go get breakfast, as you say, hit the buffet. But it doesn't mean that you're not being as professional as possible. Maybe that was his plan. Maybe he likes to do it differently. You know what I mean? So everyone does have a different approach. I always say it's best to make weight as early as possible and start that rehydration process, taking on the nutrients, you know. You've just got more time. You got more time. And you only have, I think it's about 36 hours from making weight to when you step into the octagon. If you can add 2 hours onto that, of course that's an advantage.
Now, you might be able to see in the back of our screen there as he's walking through. He's coming here. Surely he's coming here. The light heavyweight champion of the world.
Hey, what's up, Glover? Hey, congrats, champ.
Come on,
Congrats.
straight in.
That was amazing.
Come on,
Congrats,
onto the
my
show.
brother.
Let's get straight in.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you, man.
Congratulations.
What a performance from you last weekend. What's the realisation of becoming the light heavyweight champion like? Is it as good as it was in your head pre-fight?
Oh man, it's just everything starts sinking in, you know.
Look at the smile on this man's face.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy. Pretty happy. It's good
Of
feeling,
course,
huh?
come on.
You know, similar story here. We got ups and downs and become a champion, man. Yeah.
Well, after all that, sorry, go on.
No, like you know, saying like you inspire. Those little things inspire people, you know. You one of the guys that inspire me and say, hey man, you see, it's like you can still do it. And everybody have a different story, but hopefully I inspire some people out there, you know.
Well, I think you have. I think you have inspired many people. But how did that feel when finally, after all that time, because I've been there myself, it was one of the greatest feelings in the world, when Dana wrapped that belt around your waist and you hear those words, I knew, light heavyweight champion. Come on, Glover, after all your ups and downs and that long journey.
I can't express, man. It's just like, you know, just when I choke him out, then I walk with a victory, you know, I lift my arm and I was like, I'm a world champion, you know, and it's like, yeah, still, every time I thought about it, you know, it's just so happy. Man.
When you think back to the fight, Glover, obviously you've had a week in it almost now to digest it. Were you surprised how, I won't want to say easy, but you know, how comfortable it was for you? Easy first round, dominated him on the back, and then, boom, that left hook in the second round, everything opens up. It was kind of like it was written in the stars for you to become champion.
Yeah, man. You know, I felt really good. Like, man, it was different that week, you know. Like, I felt like I'm a champion. I felt like people treat me like the champion. I felt the confidence on people's eyes. The guys that bring me coffee in the morning, and they just look at me and say, you're going to win, man. I know you're going to win. And it's just like... you know, it's just a great feeling. It's just let everything sink in right now.
Well, it's that positive mindset, that championship mindset, that positive mental attitude, obviously partly why you won. I'm assuming, because you were just there in Abu Dhabi last week, I'm assuming you haven't been back home yet, down to Brazil or anything like that. When's that going to happen, and when are you going to defend the belt?
Man, I just come over here to support my friend Alex Pereira. And, I'm planning to go to Brazil, of course. But they're waiting for me over there. They're waiting for me, and we just got to plan it out. And about the fight, I'm thinking like summer next year, man.
Yeah,
just take some time off. The old man needs rest.
Exactly. Hey, you're going to be the champ for a while. Do a world tour. Enjoy the moment. Make some money. Revel in the glory of being champion. Nothing wrong with that, my friend.
I've got two things for you. First and foremost, obviously, a word on Jan. Last weekend, I mean, we see trash talk all the time. We see guys going back and forward and all that type of stuff. And don't get me wrong, we get into it. We're excited about it. But to see the way that you two gentlemen participated in that contest last weekend, proper mixed martial arts. That is the essence of what this sport's all about. The way that you two handled yourself last week.
Yeah. I mean, just the way I am. I'm not gonna change it. I'm that way. Everybody that fights me respect, but I respect the guys that do the show, man. They put the show. The young guys, they come up and they do the show, and they out there like they acting, and they they put up the show, and people like that. There's nothing wrong with that.
So Alex Berhada, I didn't know until a few moments ago that he was training with you. Of course, we all know he knocked out Israel Adesanya. He's coming in here with a lot of hype. Of course, training with you, that's going to be fantastic for rounding out his skill set. Where is he in terms of takedown defense and grappling on the floor? Is he ready for the UFC in that regard?
He is, man. He's 100% ready for UFC. He's the type of guy that he got so much to grow, because you can see how quick he catch things. I train with a lot of people. It's hard to do that transition. I see wrestlers having trouble with the striking. They can't learn, no matter how good wrestler they are. It's hard to learn. And same thing, strikers like kickboxer, boxer, they can't transition to jiu-jitsu and wrestling. But Alex is a different beast, man. You teach him a move, and he learn. He remind a lot of myself when I started jiu-jitsu. I saw a move one time, and in the practice, I would tap, purple belt, I was blue belt, white belt, with that move, So he reminds me of that. So.
Regarding your own personal attitude, because a lot of people might not be aware, I was speaking to Dana about this. You changed your attitude a few years ago regarding training nutrition, because you started working more intently with the Performance Institute. How has that helped you have this, what we would class as an Indian summer in your career, and become the champion at 42 years of age?
No, you gotta open your mind, you gotta do it to believe it first, like I always believe. I put my gym over there and start training my gym, and people say man, this is not good. You're in a comfortable zone here in your home, and I believe that was gonna work, and it works, But it's just like, man, the fact that you just gotta, I don't know, man, you just gotta push it. It's like, having fun doing it.
Yes.
Having fun doing it.
Obviously, we're all here for UFC 268. Kamaru Usman, I think, or some of his team have just gone past us in the background. Do you have a prediction you can share with us on the main event? What do you think?
Man, Kamaru is he's proving he's getting better and better, and he's like the pound for pound best right now, right? The guys he looks amazing, man. And Colby, he is he's a fighter, man. He back it up. He's doing the thing, He's doing the thing, man. He's doing the thing.
Oh,
he's
selling it. He's selling it.
He's selling, and people get excited about it. It's gonna be a great fight, man. That I know for sure.
Yeah.
I can't predict that. Maybe Kamaru, I have him in a little advantage a little bit, because he just looked amazing last couple of fights, man.
Well, Glover, the champion of the world, thank you very much for your time. We'll let you get on with the rest of your day.
Maximum
Congratulations.
Absolutely, maximum respect. Superstar. Thank you very much
So
for coming
happy
to share
for you,
it.
Glover. You
Absolutely.
deserve it.
Go on.
Let's go.
We're live on, but we'll do the shot. Come on,
Well,
let's get a
we're
shot.
getting the cell phones out, or mobile, should I say?
That's it. We've got
I'm having one as well.
Got to get a shot with the champ. Let's all get in there, Nick. Come on. We're all getting a shot.
We're all getting
That's
selfies
it.
with the champ.
Hold on, I'm getting involved in this as well.
Apologies for everybody watching back home. Listen, the champ's here. We've got to get it on. Come on, Nick, get on in. That's it.
Get in, Nick.
There you go. Here we go. There we go. There you go.
That's good TV. That's good TV.
Thank you so much, my friend.
It's a proof that in life,
Yeah.
sometimes the good guy finishes first.
Absolutely. It's
And
a
I'm
Hollywood
still a
story.
fanboy.
Mate, we're all still fanboys.
Yeah.
I mean, last weekend going into it, I just wanted to make the point as well. Jan Blachowicz, exactly the same type of
Yes.
guy, you know what I mean? You don't. Of course we love the razzmatazz, of course we love the trash
The
talk.
razzmatazz.
We love all that, we love the showbiz of it, but sometimes when the good guys just come in there and give us the essence of the sport, that's also something to be celebrated too.
Of course it is, absolutely. You know, and you just see it then. It hasn't sunk in.
Well,
Like,
well-
you know, what is he? 5 days removed from winning the belt.
When Mike
It
gets his
still
hands on him in
hasn't
New
quite
York City
sunk in.
later on, it'll sink in because we'll take him out and we'll have a good time, won't
Oh, there you go, throw me under the bus again. This might sound hypocritical coming from me because, of course, I was one of those guys that went out and put a show on and talked a bit of nonsense and maybe, said some regrettable
But
things
always in
over
the
the years.
aftermath, you were always true mixed martial artist in the aftermath.
Well, thank you very much. But I do respect that a lot.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that really is, as you mentioned there, it's the true essence of martial arts. It's all about respect and integrity. And then sometimes with the entertainment aspect, you want to sell, and sometimes people get carried away.
Yeah.
But that, what we saw there last week, and as you mentioned, that is what this sport is all about.
100%.
The best name in mixed martial arts.
Odie.
Odie Osborne. You've got to say it all in one, mate, because
Odie
people get then
Osborne.
confused and think, what, Ozzy Osbourne's fighting? No, Odie Osborne. Odie Osborne, he's the first on. A lot
Yeah.
of pressure on him. He's kicking off the shot on the early prelims, taking on CJ Vergara.
The Jamaican sensation himself. Part-time school teacher is Odie, but
Nice kid.
listen, he's down a flyweight now. He started his career at featherweight, then moved down to bantamweight. Now he's down a flyweight.
125.2, the official weight for Ode Osborne.
Like so many of these guys, coming from a collegiate wrestling background as well. So
And that's such an advantage.
It is.
And for the people of the UK, obviously, I live in the States now, seeing what these kids go through and the kind of training regimen that they have, and the skill involved, from such an early age, get into the UFC, then they ran out the skill set with some boxing and some jiu-jitsu, but that wrestling background is so important because they can determine where the fight takes place, on the feet or on the ground, and it's not just that. It's also the work ethic.
absolutely.
But
And
I'll
there's a
shut
guy who
up.
is work ethic
Yeah.
and does come from a wrestling background.
No, but that's it. To be successful in wrestling, I'm telling you right now, it's the hardest element of mixed martial arts training, and that is where the injuries occur as well. I'll be quiet.
Official weight 155.2.
Get shape on him.
Yeah.
He's beach ready, man. He's beach ready, isn't he? He's Michael Chandler. But attitude-wise, to take yourself out of the comfort zone of other franchises where you've been the champ, you've been the guy, you've earned the coin, to take himself out of his comfort zone, to come and challenge himself against the very best guys in the world in the UFC, that's got to be commended.
You're right, but it's also what he's here for, and it's what we do as professional fighters. And there's no bigger card to put yourself on, no bigger showcase right now than Madison Square Garden on the undercard of a welterweight title fight. So you're absolutely right. I hear what you're saying, but who wouldn't take this opportunity?
Yeah, and listen, he's coming. There was a lot of question marks when he first came in. Does he belong at top 10? Does he deserve to be waiting in the wings for Khabib versus Gaethje? Does he deserve to have this opportunity? Then he come in and he absolutely flatlined Dan Hooker. And you go, okay, now he does deserve to be here, give him an opportunity. And the stars kind of aligned for him. Dustin Poirier went, listen, I know I should be getting the title, but I'm cashing out with Conor. And so Charles Oliveira needed a dance partner. Michael Chandler was in the right place at the right time. As Mike was saying earlier on about being ready, taking opportunities when the UFC put them in front of you, because you don't know what might happen down the line.
Yeah, but if you're Dustin Poirier, come on. You get paid to punch McGregor in the face 2 times in a row. Sign me up. I'll do that for free.
Yeah, you couldn't resist.
I just had to get it in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
McNugget.
No, but regarding Chandler's attitude, like I said before, we're going to see Vicente Luque. Hopefully we don't see him weigh in. Maybe hopefully he's not needed. We're still waiting for Colby Covington to weigh in.
Yeah.
But we saw him do a very similar thing in the Habib Justin Gaethje fight. He showed willing, and maybe that is why he got those opportunities ahead of Justin Gaethje when Poirier pulled himself away from the Charles Oliveira
So
fight.
the UFC won't take it. Listen, hope everything's fine. Colby weighs in, Luque weighs in, he gets his pay for weighing in.
Yeah.
He doesn't fight this weekend. Of course, we all want that. But you guarantee UFC won't ring Vicente Luque next week and say, oh, can you fight the guy who's number 12?
No.
They're going to ring him in a couple of weeks or whatever and go, right, you've got the final eliminator now.
Yeah.
So I'm not bringing it back to me, but I can give perspective.
Go.
When I volunteered to fight Luke Rockhold on 2 weeks' notice, I'll be honest, at that time, I didn't think I was going to get the call.
Yeah.
And in fact, they said, no, we love you, Mike, but Jacare's further ahead. But I thought in my mind, as long as I do that now and I offer to step up and I try and do them a solid and I show that I'm a dependable guy, then hopefully I'll get the next shot.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And then Dana said, no, we love Jacare. So I went on the Raz, had a bunch of beers, and then in the morning I get a phone call, yeah, you're fighting for the belt in 2 weeks. I'm like, I wish you'd have told me sooner.
I mean, in 24
because I
hours.
was very hungover.
Now, was that because Jacare turned it down, Mike?
Jacare turned it down.
There you go.
Or Rocco turned Jacare down. I'm not sure.
Here he is. Speaking of which, let's see where he's at. Hopefully he mixed weight and we won't have to have a conversation about Vicente Luque.
Nah, he's going to make weight.
He's a wrestler. He's been making weight since he was about 7 years
Correct.
old.
That's all part of the culture. And listen, for all the talk and all the, hyping the fight, he's a professional. The shape that this man comes in, the pace that he puts on is relentless. Hold on.
Wow, under.
Yep.
169.
Both men under.
Well, again, you're not gambling because when you attempt to float that little last part, there is a potential that you're not on. And while you can eradicate that little bit of weight, you got to go to the treadmill or you got to go back to the sauna. You got to mess around and you're eating away from the time. And it's not just, it's not really going to make much of a difference if you lose half an hour in terms of hydration, but it's the mentality. It's the stress it causes. You're annoyed at yourself. You're annoyed at your team. It causes friction and everything's not going to plan. You know what I mean? And it's all part of that. Everything's going perfect. Training camp was great. Weight cut was awesome. You know what I'm saying? It all adds to it and you want everything to be perfect. And that puts your mind in the right place.
It's exactly what Glover's just said. When I got to Abu Dhabi, I was being treated like the champion. Everyone was bringing me coffees. Everything was perfect. I felt like I was already the champion when I got there. As Mike was saying, that's all in his mind. Wow, it's happening for me. This is going to play out perfectly.
No one's bringing me coffees. Look at this. You know what I mean?
I kind of like working with Mike because he's used to working with the American way of doing things, and now we're getting more stuff because Mike obviously kicks off a little bit more. We need to be together a bit more.
Listen. There's a little word. It's called talent. On-air talent. I'm sorry, but I know those people over there are sat on their backsides doing nothing. I'm on air. I need caffeination.
Mate,
I need hydration. Okay? Never mind them making weight. I've just ran 3 miles through New York City, record-breaking time. Chest and traps all day. Biceps for days. Come on. We've got to keep the engines burning.
I'd like to point out that our team are actually working and keeping us on air so you can enjoy this back home in the UK.
While seated.
He's not letting them off the hook, is he?
And the coffee's there.
You're getting the coffee. You're getting the coffee. Here you go. Bring it in. Gary, bring it in. There
Big shout out, Gary Donald.
There you go. You've got your coffee. Just a quick one. If you've just joined us halfway through the stream, first of all, where have you been? But we've got a championship fight. Well, we've got 2 championship fights. Both of the title contenders and champions have weighed in well on. There was a little bit of a blip with Weili Zhang. She had to re-weigh in because she was 0.2 over, but we got that done. So the 2 title fights are done and dusted. The people's main event is done and dusted as well. And I think as I'm looking down the whole main card, actually, everybody that is on that main card, from Frankie Edgar to Shane Burgos, everybody's weighed in, they're on weight, so the main card is absolutely spot on. 2 a.m. kickoff on BT Sport. Make sure you come and join us for that. We are still waiting for Andreas Michailidis, I believe, which is Alex Pereira's opponent, and we're also waiting for Nasruddin Imadov, who is part of the prelims, of which you'll be catching on BT Sport. So in the meantime, gentlemen, I think we've got a little bit of a lull in the action. We can get stuck into some conversational pieces. Seems that we've all been doing the interviews this week and looking into the eyes of these athletes. Has any conversation that you've had this week with anybody, or any interview that you've seen, changed any of your pre-fight thoughts of how any of the fights are going to play out?
Interesting. Colby's attitude during the presser especially, and the conversation you had with him on BT Sport, he had me convinced. And then I spoke to you afterwards and you said, wow, the guy's ready. And my big fear was, he's been away for so long, he's had 1 fight in the last 2 years since he lost to Kamaru last time. Kamaru's done so much, he's climbed to the top of the sport. And meanwhile, Colby's just had that 1 fight against a failing Tyron Woodley. And so I had question marks about where Colby was, but I kind of like the fact he's hiding behind an excuse in regards to Mark Goddard. I don't believe that was an early stoppage, but he's kind of using that as a tool to go, you know what, had it not been for that, I'd have won that fight, and he was kept on pushing that in the press conference, and psychologically that's strong for him. Whether I believe it or not doesn't matter. He in his own mind believes he was robbed in that first fight.
Had I not been choked out by George St. Pierre, I'd still be the champion of the world. So he can live and say that and push that narrative, but there's a word out there for that. It's called denial.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And listen, okay, part of his brand is that he wants to still put forward, you know, he doesn't want to accept that he was knocked out, and I get that. To answer your question, obviously I spoke to Kamaru even earlier this week, and again, you know, just calm, steady confidence, and he's not forcing it. You know, it's coming from the preparation, it's coming from the lifetime of hard work that he's put in, the athlete that he is, the team that he has around him, and the confidence that's building with being the pound for pound #1 guy in the world. And there's a reason why he's that, and you can see he doesn't need to be outlandish. #1, it's not his style.
No,
he's a very, very calm, level-headed guy anyway, just like me. But you can see the confidence in his eyes.
Yes.
And we see the results. And he's on a 14-fight win streak in the UFC. 2 away from breaking the record, or tying with Anderson Silva, should I say. It's incredible. And as I say, when you speak to him, you can't help but walk away and be like, this guy's for real.
At previous press conferences, I've seen people walk all over him when it comes to the chat. He's brilliant in the octagon, of course. I thought he was great yesterday, Kamaru Usman. Don't get me wrong, Colby was great as well. It was fireworks.
Colby was better.
Colby won. It was a 10-9 round, not a 10-8, I'll give him that.
But he dealt with it.
But he did deal with it, because he knew what was coming. You know, he's been here with Colby before. He knows what's going to happen. What impressed me about Kamaru Usman is it's different being the welterweight champ on the way through, screaming for recognition, wanting to be recognised. Now the whole of Planet MMA has gone, you're the guy. You're the pound-for-pound best guy in the world. And that can do 2 things. That can even break someone because of the pressure. You think, oh my goodness, wait a minute. So I've taken over from Habib, who took over from John Jones, who took over from GSP. Wow, I've joined this whole elite list of Hall of Fame superstars. But Kamaru just seems to have taken it in his stride. He's just like, boom, that's right. I'm here. Get me Canelo. Which is crazy talk. But when he was saying it, I was going, okay, the pound-for-pound best guy in boxing, pound-for-pound best guy in MMA.
That makes sense, though. I'd like to see it. I mean, listen, you got to favour Canelo all day.
Wait a minute, but are we talking boxing or are we talking MMA?
Well, see, that's a different thing, because Canelo would be eating the canvas pretty quick. But slow your roll on that one a little bit. But still, what he's saying there is, I'm running out of challenges. I'm going through everybody. As we know, he's lapping the division. We're talking about maybe fighting Leon Edwards, hopefully sometime down the line. Remember, he's already beaten Leon. I say that with respect, of course. Everyone in the division. I mean, there's one person out there that's probably going to get a shot real soon. I'm talking about the Wolf, Khamzat Chimaev. But that's because he needs new blood. I don't know if he wants that blood, though.
Okay, listen, here's a question. We're talking about Canelo, we're talking about, Kamaru Usman and trying to match them up. But this is what Canelo has done in boxing is unified different weight divisions. Is it time to start talking about Kamaru Usman and saying, okay, let's see how good you are. Go up.
Yes.
The problem is, though, is that his good friend Israel Adesanya is the champion in the weight division up. And he's previously been on record in interviews that we've done with him where he said, listen, I ain't going to dance in his world because we're friends and...
Okay.
He ain't going to get involved
in
that.
He fought Gilbert Burns.
Sound.
Burns,
no, never mind that. Never mind that. I don't buy that. I mean, I respect it.
I'm just saying that's what he said.
But it's business. It's business.
Exactly.
And listen, they're both from Nigeria. They're friendly. But so what? So what? Lots of people are friendly. Glover and Yan were friendly. If you want to be the best, this is not about
the Ultimate Friends
making
Championship.
Friends. No, it's about taking what Adesanya's got and about affirming and confirming that he is the #1 guy in the UFC. And that's one of the only ways you can do that. You got to step out of your weight class. You got to go. That's why GSP got so much credit.
Adesanya done it himself. He tried to do it. He lost to Yan, but he tried to do it for Kamaru to go.
You dare to be great.
Exactly. For Kamaru to go, well, no, I can't because my mate's there. No, you've just fought your mate. You've just beat Gilbert Burns up.
Your training partner.
Real mate. A real training partner. He used to spend family time with him. If you can do that to him, you can do that to Israel Adesanya. So I'm not having that excuse either.
And stylistically,
what a fight!
Stylistically, I'm not knocking Adesanya, but we just saw Yan out-wrestle him, and Yan is not the wrestler that Kamaru is.
Exactly.
Stylistically, it's a good fight.
We're doing some matchmaking.
I'm doing some matchmaking, babe. I don't know if you notice I'm running the UFC these days.
I don't know if you've noticed, but our monitor's gone off. Is everything all right there, gentlemen? We just need our little screen there sorted so we can keep an eye on everything that's going on backstage when it comes to
how many is there left to weigh in?
There's about 2, 3, there's 5, mainly on the early prelims. They're still hopefully going to be joining us very shortly. But you make a good bit of matchmaking there, boys.
Ooh, yeah.
Getting
Well,
Kamaru was going on
listen,
opportunity.
I mean, obviously, I mentioned Hamzat there, you know, and people may say it's a little early, and there's the man himself.
Yes.
Congrats, champ. Good luck, buddy. You know, Hamzat is making waves. He's 4-0. He's only been punched once, you know, in 4 fights, which is insane.
To the Wolves.
Yep.
Feeding into Nate Diaz isn't feeding him to the Wolves.
And
he's been
listen,
here, done that, and got the thing.
It's not about feeding him a loss before he goes on his way. The UFC pay Nate Diaz very good money.
Yeah.
And for that money, they want to put on big fights.
Main events.
And Hamzat Chimaev versus Nate Diaz is a fight that is going to set the world on fire.
Correct.
Yep.
Whether or not Nate Diaz stays with the company or he leaves, that is the kind of fights, the magnitude of fights that Diaz is involved in. It's perfect matchmaking. And if Hamzat beats Nate, the title fight is without question. And if Nate Diaz can pull it off,
Bingo.
then God bless him as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what a scalp that would be for Nate Diaz at this stage in his career as well, because there isn't a hotter fighter in the UFC right now coming through the ranks, you know, unranked fighter, or he was unranked, who's coming through. No one's making the waves that Hamzat is. You can see it all over social media. You do anything about Hamzat on social media, it absolutely explodes.
Yeah.
He's got more followers on social media than Kamaru Usman, the world champion. So it says you everything about where this guy is going. I think the question is, will Kamaru still be around by the time he gets to the top? Because I genuinely think he needs to think about moving up. And if you're Nate Diaz, this is Nate Diaz territory, man. Listen, we're going to give you the main event against this kid who's absolutely red hot, that's never had a loss. What do you think? If Nate Diaz doesn't take that fight, I'd be shocked.
It'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. But on this division as well, because we've got an interesting fight coming up at UFC 269 between our very own Leon Edwards against Jorge Masvidal.
Yep.
Everybody's seen this week as well that Leon was approached to weigh in today for this. Now, fair enough, he's got himself focused on the Masvidal thing. Maybe that was his thought process behind it.
Yeah.
But Vicente Luque, a guy that's also on an unbelievable streak in this division.
Finishing people as well.
But you know, listen, we were talking privately, saying, you know, maybe Leon should have taken that, you know, and maybe he should. Maybe it would have been good for his stock. Maybe it would have solidified the next title shot. But also, there's another factor to consider. It's a process for Leon Edwards to make weight.
Yes.
Right. You got to plan it. It's strategic. It might take 2 months, and then he's probably thinking, I'm not going through that. I am not going through that sacrifice.
That's fair.
I just fought kind of recently. You know, I'm not going through that. I'm not going to get up at the crack of dawn every single day and go running. I'm going to monitor my carbs. I'm going to do all that stuff and training.
I'm prepared for a proper fight.
Just to turn up and step on the scale. All right, he'll get a few quid, but he's not going to get to fight. Making weight is it's the most miserable aspect of this sport. So you can't blame a guy for saying, no, I don't want to weigh in as a backup.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I understand the pros if he was to do it.
Yeah. My point with it is that now there's extra pressure on the Masvidal fight for him to perform and do something because of the way that this game works. You know, Luque will be in good favour today for doing that.
Of course.
And Hamzat's also in good favour right now.
Yes.
Leon wants the title shot. I think there's extra pressure now on the fight of him to be able to deliver something very special.
Well, 100%. But the difference is Luque hasn't got a fight arranged. You know, he would have to have thrown his whole camp out the window just to make weight this weekend, Leon, to then fly back to the UK and pick up the pieces of his Masvidal camp, which has started already.
Yeah.
And that's a really good point, Nick, because, you know, to make weight, as I say, it is a process. And he's fighting next month against Jorge Masvidal. Massive fight, personal grudge match, title ramifications. And if he makes weight now, he's probably going to be underweight come fight night in December. He's not going to be at his optimal weight. He's going to lose muscle mass and all the rest of it, because every time you make weight, it takes a piece of you away from you. You lose a little bit of muscle mass. Yeah, you try and put it back on, but every time you do it, it gets harder and harder. So, I was like, come on, Leon, take the fight or step in, because that could have been your shot. But now I'm thinking about it analytically.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. And if something does happen to the Masvidal Edwards fight, does Hamzat get the call?
Of course he does. We talked about it at the start of the week. He's got to, because he's red hot at the moment. And if he doesn't, Vicente Luque will.
And if anything happens in the middleweight title fight, which isn't even arranged, Hamzat will jump in there as well.
Oh, man,
and if anything happens at heavyweight, I mean, go on, brother, no problem. I take this guy, I slam him. Come on, give me a heavyweight title. He's great.
It's true.
It is true. We've also, if we're looking back at UFC 267, let's have a quick chat about Islam Makhachev, because this is a guy, there were questions going into that fight, where's he at, because he hadn't beaten those ranked opponents previously. He made quick work of an elite level guy in the lightweight division, How far is he off?
Well, I think, he's a phone call away. He's got, I know he joked about it at the press conference, but he has got Dana privilege via Khabib, because Dana loves Khabib, like we all love Khabib.
Yeah.
So he will get an opportunity, probably sooner than most, because Khabib will be putting Dana under pressure to make that happen. Listen, it's the fight game, man. This is how it works. Obviously, this weekend's big. I think if Chandler beats Gaethje this weekend in that one-round shootout that I'm expecting it to be, if Chandler's victorious, I think Makhachev could get the winner once that title fight is decided at the end of the year. If Gaethje comes through this weekend victorious, I think he's got to get the next shot. He's got to be the guy that sits ringside when Oliveira fights Poirier for the belt. I think Gaethje's got to get in the octagon afterwards for the face-off with the winner. I think that's kind of locked in stone, which means Islam's probably one fight away.
Can't disagree with that at all, but you got to factor in also, this is a tough sport, you know, and even when you go out there and you win a fight,
this was a statement.
That was a statement. But for Gaethje, let's just assume Gaethje wins. We're not guaranteed that he doesn't need some time out to recover from the fight. He might need a surgery. He might break his hand. He might break a finger. There's so many things that can go wrong, and he might be out for 6 months. Yeah. So then, in which case, Islam is the guy next in line.
Absolutely. I just want to quickly touch upon as well Paddy Pimblett, who's also out here in New York City. You're grinning away there.
The past, the present, and the future.
Yes, everybody's seen that. Make sure you go and check out Mike's Instagram, because there's a lovely picture of yourself, Darren Till, and Paddy Pimblett there. But this is a young man as well that is kind of just changing the game a touch. Obviously, he's done the thing in the octagon, he's rocked the microphone as well, but from a commercial entity, the reason why he's in New York isn't necessarily for this event, Nick. He's teamed up locally with the Barstool Sports guys to make content, and that is a massive important thing of the modern day fighter going forward.
There's the picture itself there. Look, there's the past, the present, and the future. I love it.
I took that, by the way. Great camera work, Catterall.
And you gave me the caption as well. That was your idea.
Whoa!
Oh,
the caption was me.
Oh, that was you.
I'm the writer in this team. Yeah.
listen. You know,
absolutely.
When you said that, I'm nicking that.
Did you see how quick he was to jump on that?
Wait a minute.
I'm the camera guy.
But yeah, but Paddy's here, as you say. He's doing some business stuff here, but you know, just being around him, he knew. He said from day one, when I get in the UFC, you wait and see the splash I make. You wait and see what I do. I want to knock the guy out first round. This is a guy who's not necessarily famous for his hands. He's famous for his jiu-jitsu. Yeah. But he was adamant, I'm going to knock this guy out in round number 1, and he delivered. And yes, it was exciting, and yes, he got tagged, but that made it even more exciting. That's the dream debut for anyone coming into UFC. You make tons of noise, you deliver when you make tons of noise, and then you start cashing out business-wise outside of it. And listen, he's obviously revving up. Hopefully we see him, you know, there's a date in March the 18th I think it is, which looks like it's going to be UFC 19th, London 19th. Yeah. Looks like it's going to be London, UFC London. Fingers crossed that, you know, the pandemic calms down and everything else, but Paddy there, main card, the roof's just going to come off.
Oh, no, the roof's going to come off, and rightly so. The guy's a star. He delivers inside the octagon every single time, you know, and everyone's excited to see what he's going to bring. But let's just look at it from an analytical point of view. Luigi Vendramini, tough guy. Everybody's tough in the UFC, but people are talking champion. It's a little early for that. Yeah. But that said, he shows the potential. He's got all the ingredients that you need, and of course he's got the star power to go with it. Yeah. So, and he can back it up, and he has got the chin, and he has got the skills, and he has got the grappling and all the rest of it. There's no weak areas from my perspective, you know, but he's still got some work to do. Yeah. But I'm excited to see the work.
Incidentally there though, as he told us the other night, Mike, spending a lot of time in San Diego at the moment, not just basing himself in Liverpool, but for, you know, opening his wings a little bit. He said, I've been on the mats in San Diego, I've had a fantastic time. I'm going to start tying that in with my fight camps a little bit more.
That's what you got to do. That you got to spread your wings a little bit. I'm not saying you have to leave England. I'm not saying you got to leave the people that got you to the dance in the first place. But you got to go out there and get different perspectives.
Yeah. Different training partners.
Mixed martial arts now, different training partners, different coaches, different teachers, professors, whatever they call them. You got to go there and you know, like for example, I was in Las Vegas once, trained with Mark Lehman, great jiu-jitsu coach, and he showed me one little technique in one training session, and it was how to escape a rear naked choke. I used that one technique throughout the rest of my career. Wow. I remember I had one training session in Las Vegas before my UFC debut, UFC 66, and I got shown a way to escape the head and arm choke. Right? As it happens, I got put in a head and arm choke in that fight, and I did that move that my coaches back home hadn't shown me because they didn't know it. Because whilst his coaches are great, no one coach knows everything. So that's why you got to get out there and sample what everyone else has. course, still maintain loyalty. Of course, respect the people that got you there, but they should also respect your fighter and allow them the freedom to go out and improve their skill set.
Absolutely. I agree, man. I agree. Obviously, you being an elite level DJ, what do you make of his walkout music? It's a bit bouncy. It's a bit bouncy. It's proper bouncy house, mate. You know what I mean?
Scouse house.
That's
I think they call it. Yeah,
It's not song 2, is it?
A little bit of, it's not song 2, is it? Come on. But I used to do the Clash London's Calling back in the day. It was only when I fought in Manchester. But when I got knocked out at UFC 100, when I came back for UFC 105 in Manchester, I thought, listen, I got to change song 2 because I've been knocked out, right? So I got to reinvent myself. So I tried to change it to Dizzy Rascal Bonkers, right? Because I thought at the MEN that'd be sick. And anyway, I'm there and I'm warming up and I'm backstage, and then one of the UFC staff came and said, "Oh, FYI, I just want to let you know, Dana says you can't change your walkout music because Blur Song 2 is all part of the Michael Bisping experience." And you know what? He was right.
It was a good choice.
It
was
was
a good choice. Yeah, but the Scouse Mafia absolutely love a little bit of the Scouse house.
Hey, I'm DJing soon, mate.
Are you playing a few?
I'll drop a couple of donkey hits, you know what I mean? But Electric Soup in Workington, and
you're plugging your own gigs on the show now.
Electric Soup in Workington, and then Burnley Mold Nightclub. What date? Hold on,
November.
I'm doing it.
November 23rd, mate.
We're
all on,
end of November, boys.
Yeah.
DJ Mikey B in town. I want my wages double for this plug.
Is it 23rd?
19th and 20th.
There you go,
19th Electric Soup, 20th Burnley.
Michael Bisping plugging his own DJ gigs now back in the UK.
YouTube channel if you want to check it out. Follow me on Twitter.
Do you want to talk about NFTs or anything like that? No.
They sold out in 10 minutes. Back of the net.
Jeez, man. Tell you, you are like the Elon Musk of this of what we do here now, aren't you? You're in everything, pal.
I'm trying. I've got my fingers all over the place, you know.
There you go. Sure. Well, let's get back into some fights then. This weekend, out of all the fights that are not title fights and that are not Chandler Gaethje, what are you looking forward to?
Listen, just because I believe he's going to have a Paddy Pimblett moment, and just because he convinced me in that walk through Central Park, Ian Gary is going to
You're the leader of the fan club now, aren't you?
Oh, mate, I'm all signed up. I'm driving the bus. He is going to make a statement this weekend. He's based, again, a fighter that's from Dublin. He believes he outgrew his camp in Dublin. Mm-hmm. He won the Cage Warriors belt without them. Since then, he's based himself at Sanford MMA, working with Michael Chandler, Brunson. Some
great
of the,
gym.
One of the strongest gyms in the whole of the sport. And he believes he's just improved and improved and improved. And psychologically, listen, we talk about the fact he's only 23. He's only had 7 MMA fights. Is he going to be ready? This kid has got such wise head on his shoulders, and he truly believes he is here to produce greatness. And I believe, don't blink, do not walk away from your TV when this guy makes his ring walk, because I think we could see another Paddy Pimblett style first round blowout.
Wow.
Well, if we're talking about guys making an impact in the UFC and making their debuts, I'm very excited and intrigued, more intrigued than excited about Alex Berhada because of the implications. Everybody knows that he's the guy to beat the guy that knocked out Izzy. So he gets a good debut, 2-3 more wins. Make no mistake, they're putting him in there with Israel Adesanya. And Israel Adesanya is sitting up in New Zealand and watching that on the edge of his seat, because I'm telling you, he's been like, I hope he loses. I hope he loses, because he's beaten me twice.
Yeah.
And Izzy ain't going to take him down. He doesn't have that kind of skill set.
No, he doesn't.
And if Berhada can beat Andre Mihalaides and keep that on the feet, Mihalaides is a grappler.
Yeah, he's a jiu-jitsu guy.
Then Izzy ain't taking him down either.
Listen, there will be a bonus. I guarantee now. Shane Burgos and Billy Q. Are we all in that?
Oh yeah, 100%. Although Iaquinta, Bobby Green.
Yes.
There'll be a bonus there too.
Dude,
There might be a few bonuses being knocked out this weekend.
It's going to cost Dana a few quid.
Yeah.
For sure.
We should get a bonus for this show.
Well,
this
mate,
is pretty good.
How long have we been on now? We've been churning it out. We've still got an hour left, lads.
Oh God. I am sweating buckets. I'm telling you. I'm dabbing away.
He's making weight here. Mike can make weight at the end of this show.
I don't know about that.
185,
I don't know about
205.
that. Jeez, once I sweat the booze out of my system, I think that's what's going on. This shirt is soaking. You can't see.
You bring that out and drink it.
That's gross.
We said right at the start of the show, and obviously there'll be people joining this as we're progressing, with the bout order change for Trevor Whitman.
Yes.
Yep.
And it was kind of brought up yesterday in the press conference, wasn't it? That would benefit Rose. She's a fantastic, technical, elite athlete. But when it comes to just getting psychologically ready for a fight, Trevor Whitman's obviously a big part of that, and he just needs the right amount of time to get ready for the shot.
I honestly believe that if it was a different Trevor Whitman fighter, if it wasn't Rose Namajunas defending her belt, they may not have messed around with the order. But I just think we know Rose, listen, she looked incredible on the scales, and she looked incredible yesterday at the press conference, so focused. But we do know that she does have, some issues every now and again. First time she had the belt, when she got beat, she said, you know what, it's kind of a weight taken off my mind, because I was under so much psychological pressure being champion. She's not that person anymore. But I just think her dressing room has to be perfect. You need to get her mind right perfectly before she makes that walk. And I think the risk of having Trevor Whitman run back in after Gaethje's been potentially knocked out wouldn't have created the kind of environment that Trevor Whitman or Rose Namajunas needs before she makes the ring walk.
Sensible move.
Yeah, very, very sensible move, and well done to the UFC for allowing it to happen.
Of course.
Those final minutes before you go out there is all about mental preparation. You've done your warm-up, you've done the training camp, you're not learning anything new, you've stretched, you've done all that, but those final 5 minutes before you walk out, you need your coach there, because that's when the real anxiety builds in. You hear the roar of the crowd, you hear on the promo feature, you can hear like you're being talked about, Rose Namajunas, the former champ, and all that stuff, and that's when it all really kicks in, the pressure, the anxiety, and all the rest of it. If you haven't got your coach there to say the right things, to say the kind of mantras that you've been working on, the positivity, the mental approach that you said you're going to have, you need him there with you. So that's fantastic that they've done that.
We'll pick this up. I think we're good. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. Seems that we're in the States. Let's get Brett Okamoto to come and join us from ESPN.
He's
Come
the
on.
enemy. He's ESPN.
Wait a minute.
You can't have good-looking lads like this on our show, can we?
Absolutely unwatchable, so he asked me to hop
Come on,
in.
jump on in.
When I signed up to do this show, part of the prerequisite was I was the best looking man with the microphone.
Yeah.
Well,
And
you've
that's
lost
gone out
that
the window
already.
now.
No, you've not. Listen, Brett, we've just been speaking there about fights, not necessarily the two title fights, and of course the Chandler Gaethje fight. But what is the fight that's captured the imagination of the American audience over here that is on this card at the weekend?
The American audience? Always Shane Burgos, man. Shane Burgos has never been in a disappointing fight, and anyone who's watched Billy Q knows that as well. I'm excited to see Al back, though. I was talking to Al this week, and it's been a while for him, and he's excited. He says he wants to be active again. So I'm looking forward to Al, but Shane Burgos, man, ever since Shane came in, his first fight, I was like, dude, I got to watch that guy. He has never disappointed me. He's never proven me wrong. So, Have you managed to spend any time with Ian Gary this week? We've just been having a little bit of a chat about this man's confidence, and it just flowing into a room. Have you managed to get a little bit of time with him? Personally, I haven't been able to interact with the guy much, but I'm looking forward to, because he's one of those guys that you keep hearing his name, almost like the Paddy Pimblett type thing, where you just keep hearing his name. And like, I got to meet this guy. I got to get around to myself. But no, not this week yet. But fight night, I will, I'm sure.
Got to bring you in a little bit, but today we're swallowing you because me and Nick are just gigantic. Colby Covington, Kamaru Usman.
Yeah.
At that press conference yesterday, what are your takeaways from it?
It was a wild press conference, huh?
It was fun.
Colby knows how to entertain. It's a big moment for Colby, right? If he loses this one, when's he going to get another title shot? So for him to look as confident as he has, and it's easy to do that a few weeks before the fight when I go down to Florida and see him in a bar and he's there with his
in
friends. Because his buddy's friend owns the bar, so that's why we did the interview.
Good save, well done.
Yeah.
No, Colby actually doesn't drink. He told me he never drinks. Like,
really?
He'll win the title, he won't drink.
Boring.
But he looks confident, man. I mean, to be able to go in front of all those people and command that type of energy, and I think he's going to look fine on it.
So I'm going to put you on the spot, because you probably don't want to do this because you're a journalist and you don't want to upset
make
people.
Me pick fights?
I'm going to make you pick a fight because I have to do it, and I get the DMs. They're like, "Screw you, Bisping." So go on. Who you got
in the main event?
Yeah.
Kamaru. I got Kamaru, yeah. I think Colby is capable of winning, but he's one of those fights where, you say this sometimes, like, he's got to fight perfect. He's got to fight perfect. But I could see him, wrestling Usman a little bit, making him tired, kind of take away some of that power. And then the first fight, we saw that he could hang with him on the feet. So if he can kind of slow him down a little bit with the wrestling, and then it turns into a stand-up fight where Kamaru's power is maybe a little compromised, he could win that fight.
Kamaru is pound for pound the best guy in the sport right now, Brett. We kind of accept that. He's done it. The body of work proves itself. At what point will the American media start to turn and go, okay, you're lapping everybody in your weight division now. You want true greatness? There's only one way to do it, and you've got to start thinking about moving up and adding a second weight division title.
Well, he's done a good thing there by already kind of blocking that, right? I mean, he just says that he's not going to do it.
Do we accept that, though? Do we accept that just because he's friends
with
Israel?
Gilbert Burns.
Come on.
His training partner.
I know.
It's because you come from the same country.
You can't say I'm going to hold back on my potential legacy because you're my friend.
Well,
I'd have no problem slapping Darren Till about. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I do that every day anyway. So
no, the real question is when he'll run out of guys. That's when the American fans will be like, no, now you got to move up because we're not interested in any of these guys. If Leon beats Jorge and he looks good doing it and he can actually say something on the mic, come on, Leon, say something on the mic if you're able to beat Jorge. Take advantage of that opportunity, right? That's a fight that a lot of people are looking forward to. There's heat behind it. Take advantage of it. Make yourself somebody that Kamaru wants to fight because he can get paid doing it. And then he's got Khamzat coming up as well. But once you run out of those options, that's when the Americans are going to be like, okay, we respect your greatness, we love it, but we need something else. We got to see you do something else.
Talk to me about Rose Namajunas. I mean, yesterday at that press conference, she's always stoic, she's always dialed in, always focused. But yesterday, the focus just seemed on the next level, and I'm so curious to see this fight. Of course, Zhang's an incredible opponent. First fight, I'm not going to call it a fluke, but it wasn't a fluke. It was the perfect shot, perfectly timed. You know what I mean? But that ain't going to happen again. You know?
I don't think so. And you know, Mike, sometimes when people change camps and switch things up a lot after a loss like that, you're like, that shows maybe weakness, that shows insecurity. For me, for Weili, that showed
commitment to the game.
It showed a recognition too that, like, you know, she didn't completely abandon what she was doing, but she's like, I need a new look. And I think the look that she went and got with Henry and Eric,
of course,
and Eddie Chaw, I think that's a great move. So I'm expecting a better version.
They're sensational coaches, and Eddie Chaw's a great person to put it all together. But I heard from a very, very reliable source when she first got there, and they were doing the most basic of drills, like 1-2 left hook, shoot into a double leg, sprawl back to your feet. She had never done those kind of drills ever before. So of course she's great in the individual aspects of the mixed martial arts, but she hasn't been blending them, and that's the secret sauce.
And that's not saying anything against the sport is not evolved to the point that it is here in the U.S.
Of course,
over in China. It's not evolved. It just simply hasn't been. It hasn't,
it's the early days. It's like going back 20 years.
Exactly, right? So for her to come out and even you know, her team was like, even some of the stuff that they were doing nutrition wise and the cutting weight wise, it's just far more advanced here. So she was already a champion without all that, and now you're adding all of that stuff to it. I'm not, you know, Rose is still a champion in her own right as well, but I agree with you. I don't think it's going to be a quick fight this time. I think we're going to see a good back and forth between those.
How quickly are they going to move Khamzat Chimaev? I know that you're on the inside, my friend. Come on, talk me through it.
No, I don't know. I think I want to see what happens. I was saying, like, right after Khamzat's performance last weekend,
give him a shot.
That's
like, what we said.
I was like, dude, if Usman wins, and Usman likes money, just like we all do, if Usman were to knock out Colby at Madison Square Garden and grab the mic and be like, listen, I've heard that there's some scary mother effer, you know. People are talking about some monster. I'm a freaking monster. Look at what I just did. I'm the Nigerian Nightmare. You can't tell me that fight wouldn't sell. No. I think it's up to Usman. Usman wants to call that guy out, make some money with him. But I kind of pressed him a little bit this week and said, hey, would you think about doing something like that? I don't think that they're comfortable with him jumping all the way up. But I think Khamzat's going to get a top 5 at least, and then he's in a title fight.
I think Vicente Luque, after what he's doing here, he came, he made weight, he showed willing, he stepped up, he's the company man. As I said, they give him to Khamzat, which is kind of a gift and a curse, you know what I mean? But say, hey, here's a big fight. You get through Khamzat.
Vicente's the kind of guy who would do that,
though. Of course, and you're definitely next. And for Khamzat, it's like, sure, I'll take that. I'll smash this guy because I'm then. After 5 fights, and that's decent. 5 fights, 5 really impressive victories, 5 stoppages, and you've taken over. You know, you've become such a star. It's perfectly. What's the word I'm looking for? Respectable for him to challenge for the belt.
It's justified. It is,
justified.
Man.
There you go.
It is. And you know, sometimes you really got to go by the rankings, and then sometimes somebody like Khamzat comes along, and you know, it's not saying that you just need to brush the rankings aside, but you have to do when there's something that special in the sport. We all want to see it. We all want to see the real rankings. We want to see the belts go around the real guys. But I am perfectly fine with seeing Khamzat fight for a title. No problem.
Listen, my man, you've got me excited about the promo that Kamaru's going to cut now at the end of his fight. We're going to let you get back to your own TV show because we've stolen you.
Take it easy,
Thank you, Brett. Thank you very much. Brett Okamoto there joining us, the main man at ESPN. He's always in the know when it comes to what is going to be happening next. And who knows? You may have had that conversation with Kamaru then, and Kamaru might be thinking of the call-out. That would be unbelievable if he did it.
It would be insane, and hopefully he does that. You know, we've just missed Gian Vellante weighing in there for the final time of his career. He said he's win, lose or draw, he will take his gloves off this weekend on home turf. He's a local boy. One last throwdown for him, but just interesting there with Brett. You know, it's like there is still welterweights to come. He is right. There's 3 or 4 guys. There's Luque, there's Wonder Boy, there's Khamzat, who Kamaru is yet to deal with. It's just, you're looking at what? At least another 18 months then of those potential opponents. If everything plays out right, at that point, surely that's when we've got to start saying, okay, well, Kamaru's beat everybody. He's lapping loads of the guys. We need to see more.
5 fights is a respectable amount
For
of fights
Kamzat,
to come in and dominate them. He's been dominating everybody.
If he beats Luque like he beat Jing Liang, he gets the next
title shot. Well, the guy's ranked number 3. You beat the number 3 rank. Chandler's number 4 right now. If he wins, he's getting a title shot. If he beats number 3, and with the momentum and the star power that he's now got, and the way that he's dominating people, of course he should fight for the belt.
Listen, there'll be people watching this at home that are saying, hang on, we've got Leon Edwards on this run, we've got Luque on this run, we've got this and this run. This is a business first and foremost. Yes, it's a sport, and we want sporting achievement to be credentialed, and we want them to get what they deserve, but it's a business at the end of the day, and Khamzat sells the living daylights out of those fights.
And listen, I hope Leon gets it, fellow countrymen and all the rest of it, but there's a point I'm going to say. Who's this?
Here's the guy who could throw a real spanner in the works, Michaeladis, who's stepping in to face Berhada. He looks in tremendous shape. And this guy, listen, this guy's, you know, everyone's talking about Pereira and fighting in Israel Adesanya and all this stuff, but this guy's here for a reason, man. He's
185 pounds, the official weight for
big, strong jiu-jitsu black belt. He's going to run across the octagon, he's going to try and throw a feint, double leg, and take Pereira into his world.
No, fully agree, and that's his best shot of winning that fight. But just going back to what we were saying about Khamzat a minute ago, the UFC put on the fights that people want to see.
Exactly.
Right? That's what they're in the business
the best,
of.
mate.
That's why it's the best, and the best fight the best. And then also, if there's something like that, if there's an anomaly, if there's someone like this that has just taken over the sport, captured the imagination, and people want to see
Masvidal Diaz last time we were here, for example.
Yeah, and let's remember, if he does get another big win, that would be 5 stoppages in a row. It's perfectly respectable, but also, if the public want to see it, the UFC will make it happen.
Yeah. And there's, I think everybody, if they made the fight, if they made the fight, there's not that many people that would go, I don't want to see that. It is absolutely.
And I don't think there's anyone that would say he doesn't deserve it.
We've just been speaking previously about Paddy Pimblett. I want to bring up Darren, because he was out with us the other night as well.
Oh, yes.
Mr. Till, who's causing a bit of aggro for you on your social media.
Throwing me under a bus on social media, showing me walking down the street with a beer. Not everything is designed for social media, Mr. Till. How about I speak on BT Sport and tell me about your antics? You absolutely smashed off your face, jumping on tables, being crazy, not shutting up, shouting at everybody. Did I film it? Did I put it on social media?
No, but you just done it on our live TV show.
Well, yeah, of course.
He went first,
for the goose, good for the gander. Simple as that.
Videograss, I think we've called him now.
Videograss.
He's a videograss. But just in general, I mean, we were lucky enough to obviously see him recently in Las Vegas, where he's spending a lot of time, obviously recuperating after the Derek Brunson loss. He's had a little bit of work done on his knee. He was in good spirits then. Great to see him the other night in good spirits once again. And again, you've just been mentioning about attitude of training with different guys, Mike. Paddy's doing that. He spent a bit of time in the States doing a bit of different work. Darren's doing the same thing. That can only be a good thing for him going forward.
Yeah, I know jokes aside, of course, we're lads.
It's all love. It's all love.
We had a couple of beers, so what? Big deal. We're grown men. No, he's going to come and stay with me for a bit as well. He's going to come do some training with Jason Perillo, and you're absolutely right. He's been out in Las Vegas. Everything we said before about Paddy and everyone else, when you do some cross training, when you work with different people, it's only going to be helpful. He said he had a lot of stem cell work done on his knee. He said he's feeling absolutely fantastic and he's ready to fight again. And listen, here's the thing that you got to love about Darren, because I said to him, because I know he tried to step in and fight Jared Cannonier, and it never got the fight never got made. And I said to him, Darren, what are you doing, you nutter? Don't go in against Jared Cannonier. He's like one of the top guys. You know, take a little step back. Maybe fight someone that's ranked around 15, 14, something like that. Build your resume again. Get that mojo back. Show the world what you're made of. And he looked at me and said, what are you talking about, Mike? I want the best guys they can give me. And that is why you've got to respect and love that man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's in a really good headspace. You know, we've seen him. We went out for Wilder Fury 3, and we spent some time with him. Then we went out for dinner and stuff like that. And then he was, you know,
the sweetener in that, Gary. No sweetener in that one. I can't drink it.
He's in Vegas. He's on his own, and all he's doing is training. And he is rehabbing that knee. He's doing a lot of work at the PI to strengthen that knee rather than having surgery on it. And he's going to continue with no ACL in his knee, and it's been done before, and he believes that's the right decision rather than having full surgery and taking 18 months months out of the sport. So, but it's good to see him this week. Listen, Darren's Darren, and I've always said it, you know, knowing him as long as I have since he was a kid, his career was never ever going to be a rocket ship straight to the moon. It was always going to be up and down like a roller coaster. It was always going to be highs and lows and everything else. But you know, we've just had Glover Teixeira standing here. We've had Jan Blachowicz as champion. There's the story Charles Oliveira. These are stories of fighters who suffered defeats during their UFC run. This is not boxing. An O doesn't necessarily mean that you're losing your O doesn't mean the end. Exactly. And Darren knows that, and he knows as long as he keeps working, he's got the ability to apply himself, the right run, the right time. He knows he can win UFC gold.
And guess what? It makes it even sweeter.
Yeah.
It makes the story better. You get more respect at the end of it. Listen, it's great to come in and take over the sport and knock everyone out, and everyone goes, wow, look at this guy, a la Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
What a rise,
yeah.
right? What a rise, and what a story. But also to be the guy that did it the hard way, that didn't give up. As a wise man once said, quitters never win. Best-selling Sunday Times book, available on Amazon. Okay, just Google it. Quitters never win. And then click shopping on Google. It'll turn up at your house in 2 days. It's quite the story. Darren Till could replicate the story in Quitters Never Win. Again, I think it might be on sale right now as well.
Perfect for Christmas.
Oh, of course.
There's your stocking fillers.
Exactly, there you go. No, but listen, you know, he's only 28 years old as well.
Yeah.
That's what I tell him all the time.
Yeah.
He's had a couple of bumps in the road. He's fighting the best people in the world.
Exactly.
He's learning all the time. He's learning on the job. He's training out in Vegas now. He's going to work on some stuff. He's going to work on getting back to his feet. I've got a few things that I'd like to show him and share with him. Not from a condescending point of view, but I have a few things that I've learned over the course of my career. So he's going to come stay at my house. We're going to train with Jason Perillo. We're going to go down the gym, do some stuff.
Brilliant.
And the more he does that, the better he gets. And he's not giving up. It's this.
Of course.
That hasn't changed. The records might have changed. Maybe some public perception changed.
Yeah.
But in his mind, the confidence is still there, and the work ethic and the drive and
100%.
the want is still there.
I like the fact that he's coming to your house, because the boss of your house is obviously your wife, and she'll keep you both in check and keep you out of what we've been getting up to this week.
Mate.
There won't be any walking down the street with a beer in your hand at your house.
Listen, I live in the lamest place on planet Earth. It is so boring, okay? Orange County, California, oh my word. I'm telling you, mate, no, there's none of that round there. It's hell on earth for me. I hate it. I hate it, but I'm stuck there. The kids are pretty much American now, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, Daddy. I'm like, you stop talking
That's not
like
you talk
that.
around here, kid.
No, like my daughter, when she was going through a little bit of a rough patch, I call her up, she's in trouble or something, the school's called her up, and she's with her friends. Hey, Dad. I'm like, you can cut that out right now. Stop talking in that silly accent. Get your ass home.
You'll never leave Clitheroe behind you, will you?
Brilliant.
Never.
Always
Brilliant.
inside.
Never.
Always inside. Don't forget, as well as books, DJ performances and various other things
Electric
available.
Sheep, mode in Burnley.
You have just used our live stream of this weigh-in show to
To plug
promote
your-
every single
to plug
business
your
that you've
swag.
got.
It's not my fault. The fighters aren't professional. We've got 2 hours to film. We're talking about fights. We've got Brett Akamoto. We've got the great Nick Peet. But on occasion, I'm going to slide it in there.
Just yesterday, when I was in the company of Dana White, we spoke a little bit about Hasbulla, right? Now, obviously, off the back of last week, he's captured everybody's imagination. He's walking around, he's putting banners on Big Nog, he's putting banners on DC, he's doing it to everybody. My takeaway from the Hasbulla thing is the social media. Is trying to capture that audience. We've been speaking about Paddy, haven't we?
Yeah.
Of now him stepping into the world of content. This is now an incredibly important part of being a fighter in the modern day world, isn't it? To be able to not just do the thing in the octagon, not just to be able to rock the microphone, but you've also got to resonate when you're not fighting. People have, hang on a minute, what's Paddy up to now?
Yeah.
He's making content, and that then grows that fan base, of which will then hopefully fast track that career when we come back to the UFC.
Of course. Listen, at the end of the day, prize
Not
fighting's...
that, by the way, of me saying that Hasbulla's coming to the UFC for a fight.
No,
You never rule anything out. I'm
Yeah,
just
exactly,
saying,
yeah.
his social media following is
You'd have
astronomical.
to put some weight on.
He would have to put a bit of weight on, yeah. But he probably fights Cejudo, though. They're probably around the same size. But the social media, is key for any... listen, prize fighting, as the model of prize fighting hasn't changed for over 100 years. Your ticket sellers go higher up the card because they keep bums on seats, they keep people in the arena. And likewise, once you move over to a pay-per-view model, you want fighters on cards that drive pay-per-view margins. And the easiest way for fighters to do that is by drumming up social media, marketing themselves across social media, drawing a global fan base, something that Paddy has absolutely done. You know, he had to rebuild his Instagram account when he went into that first UFC fight. Now I think he's got about 1 million followers on Instagram. Just shows you the power of what you can do. And people resonate with that personality. Till is so popular. Does he say popular things? No. Does he say crazy, outlandish stuff most of the time? Yeah. But he's being true to himself, and people recognise that, and people want to be part of the party.
Also, being a social media grassing me up on my nights out. But whether you like it or not, your numbers on social media reflect your popularity.
Of course.
Certainly in the fight game. And the UFC look at that and say, hold on a minute, millions of people are following this guy. That means tens of millions of people want to watch him fight.
Exactly.
You know, because not everybody that likes you as a fighter follows you on social media. It doesn't resonate like that. It doesn't cross over. But if you've got a big following, it means your fight following is even bigger. Therefore, you get those bigger opportunities if you can also back it up in the octagon. And let's be honest, that's the primary focus here. It's not a popularity contest. That helps. It all helps with the marketability.
Yeah,
but you've got to fight first.
Live on ESPN News as we welcome Nasruddin Imavov.
Gotta be close here,
Well,
right?
this is it. This is the last one for the prelims. Nasruddin. He's taking on Edmund Shabazian. It's a proper fight, this, for the kid.
It is, yeah. This kid trains with Cyril Gagnon out of Fight Factory in Paris, France. So, you know, he's more than capable. He's Russian originally, 10-3 Russian, but based out of Paris. Was a welterweight, now middleweight.
And he's made it good. I spent some time with Cyril this week because he's in town, obviously looking after his boy, and he just looked at me and I said, "Oof, tough fight for you, lad, this weekend against Edmund Shabazian." He goes, "No problem."
Wow.
Well,
and obviously he's going to elude that because it's his friend.
Yeah.
But he went, "No problem. Trust me, this kid's the real deal."
Okay, amazing.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Cyril Gagnon, they come from, you know, the MMA factory in France. Predominantly, it's a striking-based gym.
Yeah.
Edmund Shabazian is a striker, so therefore they're like, okay, listen, we can handle the striking prowess of an Edmund Shabazian in this gym. We've prepared for many guys like this before, you know, but just because the gym's good at that doesn't mean necessarily Nasruddin is. But let's see what he's picked up, and of course, Cyril Gagnon isn't going to say to you,
he's going to struggle. It's
a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah,
I don't know. I told him not to take it. We tried to get out of the fight, but he wouldn't listen.
Of course. He is coming into the fight the second round knockout of Ian Heinisch. You know, he's 2-1 in his UFC one as well. So, you know, his confidence is up. So why not?
And Heinisch is a tough guy to finish. He's got a real chin.
You can see a few fighters still milling around in the room. You might have just see Michael Chandler go just behind us there. He weighed in successfully earlier on. If you are just joining us.
Oh, look at this guy.
What's up? What's up?
What's up, Mr. White?
Yeah, come on, man.
Come on. Bring it in.
Bring it in. Listen,
step in. Get over here.
We can't come to your place of work.
Right in here.
Look at
this.
this. We got the coffees. Cheers.
Cheers.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man.
Give him a microphone.
Hey, I'm doing good, buddy.
How's the leg, first and foremost?
It feels all right. It's good. It's good. It's been a long road, though.
You came on the podcast. You said you were sparring what, like 2 weeks after the operation?
It was like 5 weeks. Maybe.
Oh, all right, whatever.
But yeah, basically the same thing.
Yeah. Are you training now? You back in the gym?
Yeah. So I had to get another surgery about 9 weeks ago.
I saw that.
Yeah. So the fibula bone, which is that small bone in the back of the leg, wasn't healing. It's just they call it a non-union, so they had to go in there and put 2 plates on it and like 15 screws and make sure that's all unionized now. And
walk in the park.
It's fine. My whole leg is just metal. And
we're
cyborgs,
fine,
man. Yeah, cyborgs, bro. Me and you together, we're fucking proud.
Between us, we might have a full
sorry
body.
if I cursed on this thing. I don't know if you're allowed to, but
just from the psychology point of view of dealing with an injury like that and going through the process, like you say, you're working towards being sorted, you've had your surgery, and then to find out that you've got to have another surgery. How hard is this to deal with, Chris?
You know what it is? I kind of just expect the unexpected always. You know, I always expect kind of shitty things to happen, but keep a positive mindset every single day. But, you know, whatever comes, I'm ready to take on and just be positive about. You know, I don't love it. I'm not happy it happens, but it's just life. Like, you know, just life kind of sucks sometimes, and things get thrown in your way, and you got to, you know, just keep on moving. You know?
Well, I was talking about it before, the advantage of having the wrestling background. And what you were talking about there, obviously coming through a wrestling program the way you have, it's part and parcel. I mean, my son's, you know, he's a wrestler in the States now. He just had his meniscus removed last week because that's just how it goes. And now you from there, you graduate into the UFC. It's nothing new to you. It's just getting injured, unfortunately, in this type of business. It's part of the business.
Yeah, wrestling is so tough on your body. I think it's the toughest thing. And when I was in college, at Hofstra wrestling in college, my knee was so shot at that point. For me to even be where I'm at, you know, today is unbelievable. You know, I mean, I already had at that point I already had like 6 knee surgeries. I had like no meniscus in my knee.
And how old? What, like 18?
I was like, no. I mean, through college. I mean, I graduated maybe like 21. But, you know, I just kept on going. You know, that's why it's like, you know, you hear these kids that, you know, they're in high school and they're this prodigy. Then they have the shoulder injury. If they didn't have the shoulder injury, they would have been in the pros. I'm like, come on, man. You always have something. There's always something you're battling through. And if you want it that bad, you're going to get it.
Nobody goes into the octagon 100%, Nick.
Of course. Listen, I was there, Chris. The crazy thing for me watching the leg break was I was there the night. I was ringside the night. Anderson Silva did the exact same thing fighting against you. And you just... Sometimes in life these things happen in circles and you think, wow, mate, it was just bonkers that it would happen in such a similar fashion.
I mean, the only time I ever seen it happen was when I was standing there with Anderson Silva. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden I look down at my leg. You know, I kick Uriah Hall as hard as I can, and I'm thinking there's no way he takes any more of those. I knew that landed hard. And then I go put my leg down, and it's not there anymore. I'm confused. And when I'm going down, I start looking at my leg, and I see the thing looking like rubber. And all I thought about was like, wait, the only time I seen this was Anderson Silva. This is my leg.
You got to join the party a little bit. You're out of shot there, buddy.
My bad,
how big you are. I'm not trying to stir the pot here, but that's precisely that's what I'm going to do.
Let's go, right.
That was an unfortunate thing that happened against you and Uriah Hall, right? You throw thousands of kicks, you know, and sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
After and immediately, you know, he was graceful. Shortly after that, he said that he was training leg kicks, you know, and he caused that to happen by the way he blocked the kick because he was checking it a certain way. When you hear him say that, what do you think?
Aljo's joined us again.
Oh,
Aljo, you're in everybody's time, bro. Are you kidding me, bro? This guy's just stealing my shot, bro. I've been gone for how long, man? I broke my leg in half. My life is over, and look, I'm finally on camera again. I'm hanging out with these big shots, and you come and steal the light?
No, it's all you, man. I just came to say
I don't think so. I think the light's on you right now. Look, you're glowing right now.
But what a shot this is! Come on, this is great.
All right, I appreciate you coming in, bro. Look at that. My buddy, the champ over here.
When's he gonna be back?
I don't know, man. I mean, we were talking about me. Now we're talking about
when are you going to be back?
I don't know, bro. I'm hoping the spring. Yeah. My leg, I just still need to get like the muscle strength back in my quad and my calf and everything like that.
Chris,
and then I'll be good. I'm coming back though.
I'm not just saying this because I'm here talking to you, right? I'm a romantic. Do you know what I mean? I was like, wow. Because you were talking about coming back and becoming champion again.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can see it. You know, I was thought, imagine if you beat Uriah Hall and then one more good win. You have the style. You know, no disrespect to Adesanya. That's not what I'm doing. I'm not disrespecting him. He's an incredible champion and what he's doing is insane. But I really thought, you know what? It's not crazy to think he could do this. Yeah. Obviously, I'm assuming that's where your mindset was. Where's the mindset now?
Well, I appreciate you saying that. Coming from you, that means a lot because a lot of people don't see that anymore. It's been a while. But, I still believe that. And I got a long road ahead of me as far as healing my leg, but I do think as far as styles go and just what I bring to the table, I don't think still to this day there's that many people in the UFC that can hang with me.
Next summer, Chris, do you think?
What's that?
Will you be recovered in
I'm
time
hoping
next
spring, summer, somewhere around that time. You know, it just kind of depends. I mean, I'm sparring already. It's not the best of me. You know, I can't really move the way I'd like to yet.
Are you kicking?
Very lightly.
Come on.
Very lightly.
I'm like, I would not kick.
I'm doing it, but a little bit. But yeah, I'm doing it. But
when you snap your leg like that, the things I've heard is that actually it gets stronger, right? Is that apparently the leg's stronger after they do all that stuff.
Undress me, Aljo.
So is your leg gonna be? You know, I mean, once it's fully recovered, you can blast away as hard as you want.
Yeah, I think you can.
Just now wafting it.
Man of many talents.
Yeah, apparently I could, but I don't see me doing that.
Psychologically, do you think there's going to be a
Do
barrier?
I need to kick, really? You know, I could box, I could wrestle. Do I really need to be kicking that much? I like kicking. I think it's a great weapon, especially when you're on the outside, front kicks and stuff, and I always love kicking hard, but I mean, I could probably get away with winning some fights without really digging into kicks the way I like to.
Just on that note, there's another guy, McGregor. He broke his leg in a different spot. You know, psychologically coming back from something like this, you know, how do you think that's obviously going to affect yourself and somebody like McGregor?
I don't know about. Who knows how? I don't think psychologically it's going to be affecting me where I'm, worried about it. I just want to get my leg back to like as close to 100% strength-wise, and I'll be fine. I know it's going to be stronger than where it was at anyway. But I don't know, Conor. It's on him. I mean, what I went through. Listen. All of our injuries, Anderson Silva, mine, and Conor McGregor's, are all completely different.
Yeah.
You can't really compare. Mine came out the calf. I got nerve issues, blood vessel issues, and all that. You can't compare the pain. You can't compare, psychologically how you're going to be able to get through it. So it's really on him. Who knows? It looks like he's going to be fine.
No, well, there's one thing he's not shy of, and that's confidence.
That's true.
Listen, Chris, before we let you get on with your day, Mike's been using this whole broadcast to plug all his own businesses, in particular his podcast. Step forward, my friend, because your podcast is absolutely mint as well. Yeah, he's giving you a run.
I need Bisping on my podcast.
Let's do it.
I'll
come on the podcast. You got to come on my YouTube.
Let's go.
Subscribe. Michael Bisping.
I already came on your podcast.
You did, but now I'm doing my own independent YouTube channel. Subscribe and ring the bell.
Same thing here. Let's go. Chris Weidman YouTube channel. Chris Weidman.
Boom. No, we'll do it. We'll do some collabs.
And Won't Back Down is my podcast. Make sure to go check that out on all the podcast places where you listen to.
There you go. Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes,
Apple, wherever.
Ring the bell. Subscribe. Tell your friends.
Are you enjoying that side of stuff? Because I watched the one that you obviously did with Stephen, and it was absolutely tremendous for you to be able to give that inside, that behind the family lines type of conversation. Are you enjoying stepping into the media and doing a little bit more?
Yeah, I love talking to people. I love kind of learning from other people that are smarter than me or have different experiences and help inspire.
Why have you invited him on then?
I'm going to have him take his eyeball out on my video. I'm going to get some views. No,
I don't want to see it. I'll keep an eye on that. one.
I'll do it.
Listen, we'll let you get on. Chris, thank you so much for your time, my man.
Chris, pleasure, man. Lovely to see you again.
Chris.
And Aljo, thank you so much for your time as well.
Hey, hit me up, we'll do it.
Thank you, man.
Thanks, man. Take care.
Look at you, you're now even booking guests for your own show. I love it, man.
Hey, strike while the iron is hot, my friends.
We've got another guest. You ready?
Yeah.
You may have just seen him in the background walking past as Chris and Aljo was joining us there. Mr. Ian Gary, come on, get in on the show, my friend. We don't need to hang about here, pal. Welcome,
buddy? How you doing? How you feeling?
There you go.
Sexy.
Let's get on in.
Feel good. How are we?
Very well indeed, man. Very well indeed. Looking, well, I said the other day when we had a cuddle the other day, solid was the word that I was using. There you go. Yeah.
We had a nice little date in the park yesterday.
We did. It was lovely. We were holding hands
around the leaves, held hands, had a little skip through.
Oh, nice. That sounds very romantic.
Just a one-on-one, was it? No invites for the lads.
Just a one-on-one. Intimate moments. You guys were hungover, I think. To be accurate. I'm just coming over here.
I'm going to slap down, don't worry. Listen, you've just weighed in.
Yes, sir.
How many pounds did you have to cut last night, this morning, in total, and how are you feeling now?
I didn't have to cut much. I was eating yesterday and everything.
Nice.
So, yeah, look, I'm not only a smarter fighter than everybody, but I cut weight better than everybody. I'm just better. And it's everything's done. I write down my weights from every single fight. I can go back and track where I was compared to my last fight, the fight before that. I'm always trying to improve. I've been working with a nutritionist. He's been helping me a lot. I've been like, how much food should I eat this time, this meal, and I'm making it more of a science.
Well, that's what you've got to do.
Yeah. And I'm so young in my career in a sense of I've been doing that since my debut, and now I've got to here.
Well, you're not just young in your career.
Yeah.
You're young in general. I was talking about it this week.
Doesn't look like it in the cage.
But you're here, you're making your debut. Madison Square Garden, New York City, media capital of the world, massive fight card, massive pay-per-view.
Man.
I mean, how excited are you? And what are your expectations going in there tomorrow? Have you done visualization? Have you mentally prepared?
Yeah, I'm ready to take over. I'm ready to go in there and show the world what's up. I'm ready to I like disruption. I like being disruptive and being loud. I said to you yesterday, since I'm a kid, it's always been, you'll hear me before you see me. This case is I'm just going to go in and do the job, and then I'll talk afterwards. And I can talk the talk, I can walk the walk, I can do it well. So why not do it all? Do you know what I mean?
Spent a little bit of time this week with Michael Chandler. Obviously, you're in the same gym as him. I mean, listen, I asked him straight out. How was Ian Bean coming into the gym, that new face, and how is he rocking and rolling with the guys on the mat, mate? He was very, very complimentary. But from your point of view, how was that transition going over there and working with those guys?
I mean, it's quite surreal when you think about it. Like, I'm training in a small gym, and I used to train in a small gym in Dublin where I was the top dog, and now I'm in the super gym where I'm surrounded by top talent. I mean, in my weight division alone, it's like number 2 and number 4 in the world. Do you know what I mean? And that's without the rest of the lads that you look at, and without like adding in Derek Brunson and Michael Chandler and all these other weight divisions. It's fucking phenomenal, and it's like, it's something that I can... Apologies, I'm not out cursed. I'm Irish, right? I get away with it.
But that's so valuable, because the moment you become the top dog in your gym, it's time to move on. Because when you're the top guy and you're dominating everyone in the room, you just start picking up bad habits.
100%,
whereas when you go in and you're like not the top dog and you're struggling a little bit, every day you are forced to get better.
I mean, this training camp has been by far the toughest. I mean, in my old gym, I used to do 3 5s. We used to do 5 3-minute kickboxing. Here we're doing 6 5-minute rounds. We're doing 10 3-minute rounds. Everything's bigger. Like, there's more rounds against better, tougher competition. Like, you're talking like just, I'm always fighting welterweights and middleweights. I'm always fighting bigger guys. I mean, I'm end up there with like light heavyweights. I'm like, all right, let's go. I mean, I'm not getting kicked by it, but fuck it, I'll jab them out off here.
So I'm going to bring you in a little bit there. You're disappearing into the background. One thing that you're not going to disappear is after tomorrow night, because I'm assuming, I'm not going to ask for a prediction because no one says, I think I'm going to lose.
First round KO.
So first round KO, there you go. Thank you very much.
Easy, make it easy.
You got something prepared for the microphone? You got a little name you're going to call out? You got a little speech you're going to give the people? You're going to wow them with this Irish charm that you have?
I'm not going to call anyone out. I mean, I'm the hype.
Stop!
I'm the hype. Why would I call someone out?
Because it's your UFC debut and no one's bloody heard of you yet.
I don't need people. They haven't heard of me yet, Mike. But they're all going to see the performance.
You're in Madison Square Garden. The world is watching. You've got to be prepared. This is a moment for you to call your shot, to make the most of it, to get some headlines, to let people know that Ian Garry has arrived. I just knocked that bum out there. Line them up, I'll knock them all down. And guess what? We'll start with such and such and fighter XYZ. So come on, right now, who's on the list?
I mean, the only person I'd love to fight is Diaz. But like, they're not going to give me Diaz now. So it's fucking stupid. So I'll just
it is.
So just line them up for me, knock out the conveyor belt, then I'll fight Diaz. I'll stop him.
Well, there you go. Say that. So put him on the conveyor belt.
Yeah,
I'll knock him off.
Belt.
And then give me Diaz.
Well, did Conor call someone out in his UFC debut? He's the biggest star in the sport.
Is that what you want to do? You want to replicate Conor?
No.
You got any old men you want to crack? Any DJs? No.
He's been like this all show, Ian. Listen,
it is what it is. It is what it is. You come at me, bro.
I'm led to believe as well.
I loved your comment, a little dig about like we don't see eye to eye because he's
well, we can't see eye to eye. That's literally impossible. And even if he stood on his wallet, I'd still be a bigger man than he'd ever be.
Now listen, I'm led to believe. Come. I'm led to believe that there's some a nice little suit that you've got lined up for tomorrow.
Little suit. Yeah, we're only in New York once. You only make your debut once, so why not? I got a nice little custom suit, and it's got some stuff on the back of it. It's got my little future signature, and then it's got words like ego, disruptive, uncoachable, all in the back. Yeah, a couple of little digs in there.
Uncoachable?
Yeah, a couple of little digs in there.
What do you mean uncoachable, though?
Oh, well, I've been called uncoachable.
Oh, really? Uncoachable by his ex-team, you see.
Oh, but ex-team, though, but that says it all. You moved on, greener pastures. Oh, he's uncoachable. That's what they say.
Ian, let me ask you, obviously we had a lovely day yesterday. We were talking, you mentioned there that you've never been to a UFC before, so I'm guessing you've never been to a UFC weigh-in before. But now you're here, now you're under the letters, you can see all the bubble around it, the amount of media attention it gets from around the world, the fighters milling around everywhere. Any sign of nerves yet? Just a little bit of nerves.
Mate, you've been here for 20 minutes.
Did you not hear me when I was? Did you not see me standing at the side of the weigh-ins? I was sitting there. I don't know why, but it was like no nerves.
Here come the hot stepper,
murderer.
I'm the original gangster,
murderer. Still living like that.
Okay. Kill. Don't there.
Listen, enjoy.
leave that all day.
You got the ceremonials later on. Enjoy that, my friend,
Yes.
and then obviously enjoy yourself.
I'm gonna
Hey,
enjoy
man.
it.
He's got to enjoy himself.
Enjoy
man.
the
Don't worry
ride.
about it, buddy.
Enjoy the
There's
ride.
only one UFC debut, and I'm gonna fucking show everybody why the future is the future.
Yes.
Looking forward to it, buddy.
There you go, Mr. Gary.
That's how it's done.
There you go.
Hey,
You got it.
What
Make
did
it
I
look
tell
good.
you? done.
What did I tell you about that young man and his confidence?
Oh yeah.
Mate, just to even have the intelligence to go, listen, I've got this far, I'm Cage Warriors champion, but this team is not the right team for me anymore.
Yeah.
Both, I'm going to go to one of the biggest teams in the world. That takes a lot of balls to leave your hometown to chase your own dreams.
Well, it's not just that, it shows a commitment to the sport, and it shows a commitment to himself and what he's trying to achieve, because you've got to take yourself out of the comfort zone.
Yes.
And you know, you got to move away from family and friends and start, and not start a new life, but start a new chapter in life when you go there and you don't know anyone, and you've got to make all these connections, and everything's different, and it's different money, and just like little cultural differences. You've got to get through all that, then you've got to go train. It shows that he says that I know what I've got to do to become champion of the world, and that's one of those steps, and you've got to respect him for that.
Now listen, you've already become an internet sensation this week with your trip down the road with Darren Till. I've just got a funny feeling, lads, we're going to end up as a meme there singing Eni Kamosi. Hot stepper, aren't we?
Yeah, I'm glad I stepped
100%.
away.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
Well, I'm in the middle. I had no choice. I couldn't stand there and look at him like an idiot.
You
I
were
thought,
in, yeah.
Ian Gary, this is an epic fail. Okay. I'm like, no, we're from Blackburn. We're like, let's go.
Let's go, baby. For those that are just joining us on the stream here on the BT Sport YouTube channel, the main card's done and dusted. You've got 2 title fights. They've all weighed in under as well. Sensational from both Kamaru, Usman and Colby Covington in the co-main event. We had a little tiny issue with Zhang when she first hit the scale. She was 0.2 over. Obviously, they got the towel out and got her sorted, but she's cashed in as well. So therefore, we've got a co-main event for the women's strawweight title, and your people's main event, which everybody's excited about, between Chandler and Gaethje. They came through as well. Everything on the main card's done. Nobody's missed weight.
Dustin Jacoby jumped on the scale a moment ago as well.
Yeah.
Thanks for keeping up to date with that.
No,
mate.
it's okay. I saw him in the background. So yeah. So we got what? 2 more people left. I think.
Yeah, I haven't seen CJ Vergara. I'm sure our team will be able to keep us up to that. We've had that many guests come through the show.
Yeah.
It's easy to lose track when we're involved in the conversation. Bruno Sozra I haven't seen, and CJ Vergara. I think they're the only ones so far that we have not seen. I'm just having a quick look at the time. We've got about 20 minutes, lads. 20 minutes before they're in. Everybody else is back in the buffet, as I say.
They're hot stepping.
That's it.
Like a murderer. Yeah, listen, as I say, you know, that's not necessarily a negative thing. Maybe that's what they plan for. Maybe because sometimes you cut weight the night before and you can be up till 2 o'clock in the morning. So you say, okay, well, let's lie in tomorrow to make up that sleep. Because whilst, of course, it's imperative to take on your nutrients, if you start your cut later, you haven't necessarily been depleted for a longer amount of time. It could be a shorter amount of time. Do you see what I'm saying? They could have started the process 2 hours later than these guys. You know what I mean? So you want to spend the least amount of time in that dehydrated state as possible. But as I say, if you start later, then of course you finish later.
Of course.
Just another thing, seeing as that we're in the mood for plugging everything that Michael's doing this week, and I think it's 25 different businesses that he owns.
I'm getting...
Don't start.
Why am I getting ripped constantly?
No, you're not getting ripped. What I want to do is congratulate you, mate, because I noticed that yesterday on the new official UFC computer game, which I'm sure lots of people watching this are well into, the gamers and what have you, there is a little bit of a Legends League, a little bit of an Icon League there.
Oh, is there? I didn't even know. I know I posted it, but I didn't look. I'm just like, that's another paid post. Ka-ching. I don't even look at him these days. Also, I'm in an Icon. I'm officially old as...
You're an
as Gary would say, something bleep.
Yes.
But I'm, oh God. I mean, that's thank you.
Yeah.
But I'm in the Legends League.
You're in the
now.
Legends
My
League.
God.
Well, Habib's in there as well.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, okay. That's good then. Nice one.
It's not just all the old guys.
Anderson's in there, Anderson Silva's in there.
I know, but I'm trying to make it feel better, 'cause
all right, you're making me feel
like
better.
Yeah.
The legends of the game are being
There
now
you go.
featured in the
no.
game.
Well, no, thank you very much, and thank you to EA Sports, and of course the UFC. Yeah, a great honour, and those games are amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, have you seen the graphics and stuff on that? It's unreal.
Now, if you were, I know that you've got a young boy at home and he's into his computer games and what have you. Does he play the game as his dad?
Well, listen here.
Or does he pick somebody else?
No, he doesn't.
He used to always bet against you when you were fighting,
Oh,
didn't he?
Lucas would always pick against me every single time, right? And the only time that he did pick me to win was GSP when I lost my belt. So I was definitely cursed from that guy. But I can't play those games.
No?
No, because Street Fighter 2, I'm telling you right
Amazing.
now, no one will beat me on Street Fighter 2.
Are you being serious?
You're a two-button
Oh.
guy.
Right, we're on.
He's a two-button guy.
No. When I was at art class at school, girl, right, Mrs. Craig, she was a bit of a soft touch, so I blagged her. I said, listen, here's what I'll do. I said, I'll bring in my Super Nintendo, right, and
Classic.
I'll do challenges. It's 20p to play them. If you beat me, you get a quid. And I said, and all the money that we make, we'll give to the art department, miss. And she's like, oh, great idea, Michael. And I would smash it. I was going home with loads. I'm like, miss, they're really good. They're really good. In fact, you owe me a tenner because I'm skint, you know. And then it only took her a few weeks. He's like,
figured it out.
He's full of it.
Which he's got one bars falling out of every pocket.
One bars. Oh my God. Well, that's from the past. You're showing your age now, mate. Come on.
Which character did you go for in Street Fighter then?
Ryu, each and every single time.
Got to get the Hadouken out, aren't you? You know what I mean?
Oh, aye. Dragon punches. What's it called? Talk it. Whatever, the spinning tornado kick thing, Bob. Anyway,
congratulations on being featured in the game.
Cheers. No, it means a lot. Thank you.
There you go. Listen, we've got an unbelievable show lined up for you tomorrow night. We've been here waxing lyrical, obviously, at weigh-ins. You've got ceremonials a little bit later on, and then, of course, the main event, the actual reason why we're here, to watch people have a fight. And from start to finish, it is tip-top live on BT Sport. From midnight, that's when your prelims will get underway. And then that main card, kicking off at 2 a.m. in the morning. I know that we were excited anyway, because it was supposed to be Frankie kicking off that main card.
It starts at 2 o'clock in the morning. Here?
No, in the UK.
Oh, sorry.
We're in New York, mate.
No, I was like...
We're doing it for the British broadcasters, mate.
Yeah. No, you're right. My bad.
So at 2 a.m. in the morning back home, that's when it'll all kick off. And that main card, as you can see, there's a little bit of a bout change there. It was supposed to be Frankie. I was excited anyway. Yeah. That hometown fight for Frankie Edgar would have been absolutely sensational. But the fact now that the people's main event kicks us straight off, it is going to be pandemonium in there tomorrow night, Nick.
It's going to be insane, you know, and as you say, it's a potential shootout for the next shot at the title. It's got incredible ramifications on the entire lightweight division, but you've got Justin Gaethje, the human highlight reel, only fights one way, pours it forward, throws bunches of punches, and in the opposite corner you've got Michael Chandler, who doesn't want to back down, who once again is being questioned whether he should be here at the top end of the UFC lightweight division, and he wants to land that big overhand right. They are not going to have to go looking for each other. And again, I reiterate, it is not going out of round one. It's going to be fun.
And when you say a way to start the show, if you've never been to a live UFC event, I'm telling you right now, it's the most exciting indoor sport on the planet. And if you get a chance, go to hopefully March 19th in London, buy yourself a ticket, because what's going to happen is the last prelim will finish, then Baba O'Reilly by The Who comes on, and they have this incredible package, everything goes dark, and it still gives me chills every time I see it. Okay, shows me knocking Rockhold out for the belt. I'm like, there it is. But then Buffer comes out and it's time, and everyone's on their feet. They're like, oh my God, yes, here we go, we're starting. And then Chandler and Gaethje walk out. I mean,
goodness.
What a start to a show.
It's insane.
I just thought Buffer's Suez now because of the copyright on It's Time. Cheers, mate.
We're mates. We're good.
But you're exactly right. There is nothing. It's a show. We were saying this yesterday about the press conference in general. Yes, of course, there's other fight sports promoters, there's other sports around the world that do things like that. Nobody does it like the UFC.
No, nobody does it like UFC at all. And that's not just the media day, not just the weigh-in day, not just everything else, but the fight night as well. That's the most important thing. At the end of the day, your fight night has got to deliver, and nobody in sport delivers a fight night like the UFC does.
Let's just see where he's at, Bruno Souza. He's just weighing in right now. Obviously, we've got about 15 minutes left of the weigh-ins.
And he doesn't look his body language. He's not confident.
Missed.
I knew it.
2.4 over.
You could just see by the way he walked out, his body language was not a confident man.
Yeah. So there you go. Bruno Souza, the first one to miss weight, by the way.
He took this fight at less than 2 weeks' notice. He stepped in to replace TJ Laramie, who was supposed to be in this fight. So kind of, there's a little bit of wiggle room there, but missing weight by 2.5 pounds, not good. Even if you did say it was 10, 12 days, I think he took this fight from. It's not a good look.
Just going back to what you were saying before about the promotion side of things from the UFC, and obviously you guys, tremendous podcast. Fight Disciples, download that.
He's talking all stuff now. He's done a bit for us.
See, I'm not all about me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We've been on
the execs of BT Sport are getting ready to send us our P45. Certainly Bisping, he's like, no, he's gone. The thing with the UFC, it's of course it's the whole package.
Yeah.
Yes.
But leading up to it, the promotional stuff that they have, the countdown shows, the embeddeds, all that type of thing, really gets the fans involved. I don't see the same thing in boxing, because I'm a boxing fan.
Yeah,
I love boxing, and if I know there's a fight on, I'll tune in and watch it. But a lot of the time, it slips through my radar because it just doesn't permeate my consciousness because they don't advertise it the same way.
That's fair. Listen, the UFC, they are the masters of the show and the theatre, and I think what it all comes down to as well, you have to have the matches, don't you? You've got to have the match. It's all what happens in the octagon come Saturday night. Give people the best fights, and then around that you can paint the wonderful pictures. Sadly, boxing for a long period of time hasn't consistently enough given people the best versus the best.
Yeah, and I think, listen, you got Canelo Alvarez versus Taylor Plant this weekend,
by the way, is best of the best.
Undisputed super middleweight championship. That's also available on BT Sport, on BT Sport Box Office.
Boom.
Huge fight. But I guarantee the card is weak as hell. Because that's just the way boxing is.
It is.
They give the fans nothing on the undercard because you're paying for the main event, whereas the UFC, the first fight on this card this weekend...
Could get a bonus.
Could get a $50,000 bonus for fight of the night.
Well, it's always top-heavy, isn't it, with boxing? There's pretty much, as you say, one fight. You'll struggle to find 2 or 3 featured bouts on one card. True. 100%. Look at that main card.
Yeah.
Look at it.
Look at the
ridiculous.
Look at the prelims, mate.
No, the prelims. I mean, Gagey Chandler, Shane Burgos Quarantillo, Frankie Agachito Vera, Rose Namajunas, Zhang Weili, and of course Kamaru and Colby Covington. That's how you put a fight card together.
Ian Gary is on the early prelims, mate. That's how deep this is. Come tomorrow night.
Yeah,
at
but
Madison
like
Square
I
Garden.
said to him, have something prepared on the microphone. Because the reason is we're high on him.
Yeah.
He's not high on the card because he's making his US debut and he's making his promotional debut.
Yeah.
And fingers crossed he goes out there and does what he wants to do and he has a sensational performance.
Yeah.
But when this gets stuck in his face, that's the side of it you've also got to have.
Yes.
Now, you don't have to go out there and be outlandish. You haven't got to make a fool out of yourself. You haven't got to call people out and swear and sell yourself short and maybe make your mother a little ashamed, right? But what you got to do is be captivating and have something to say, whether it's a message or a call out or something. You can't just go, yeah, well, it's great to be here, and I'll fight whoever the UFC give me next.
Yeah.
And,
it's the worst thing you can do.
Really enjoyed it, and can't wait to be back.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, I'm going to go make a brew now.
but how often does that happen? And you think, what are you doing? You've just won.
He does the inside octagon interviews.
Mate, I went in and interviewed, who was it? Sergei Spivak, through a blooming...
interpreter.
Yeah, and I'm like, so, amazing fight, great finish.
He's a rank guy as well, he's got no excuse.
And the message back from the interpreters, yes, it was. I'm like, okay. Can we kill this interview, please? Because he's making a bit of a knob out of both of us.
But the interpreter has not done his job because if I was the interpreter, I'd go, right, I know what he's just said, but what I'm going to say is,
lie.
Right, I want a title shot next. And just
fire it up.
Give him something. Give him something.
How impressed have you actually been as we're coming towards the end of this? We've got to remind everybody, over an 8-day period, right, the UFC have put on 2 numbered cards over 2 continents, 4 world title fights, other fights on these cards that have massive ramifications for various weight divisions.
Yeah.
That is an impressive thing to do
you know
during a time of travel restriction.
Is another stat. Over a dozen different nationalities of fighters were involved as
and
well.
by the way, the show doesn't stop for me. Next Saturday, they're right back at it with another stellar
Max
fight.
Holloway back on.
Max Holloway versus Yair Rodriguez. I'll be commentating that one. So you guys go sit on your settee and have a nice little time.
I've got to recover.
I'm going to be
time to recover
researching like crazy the entire card.
Yeah.
And but as I say, Max Holloway, Yair Rodriguez, it just never ends. You know what I mean?
Stellar.
And it's. I mean, there's so many reasons for it. Dana White is his vision and the work ethic that he does. We were saying yesterday, Dana's still out there doing so many interviews and all the rest. He doesn't need to do that anymore.
No.
But that shows his passion for the sport and the passion of all the UFC staff. Because it's not just Dana. Everyone involved, they're so passionate about the brand, and that's why we have this kind of quality. That's why it's such a well-oiled machine. You know what I mean? Everyone knows their place and they do it to the best of their ability.
Yeah.
And that's why. And of course, I'm very pro UFC. But it is by far the best fight promotion that has ever existed on planet Earth.
The attitude that they've had over the last 18 months has been super impressive. But just as we're now coming to the end, fingers crossed for this pandemic, so therefore more fans can get to events, because that's what we were craving, we were missing, and I'm really looking forward to tomorrow night in particular. New York's on fire right now. They are absolutely pumped up. We saw it at the press conference yesterday. We'll see it at the ceremonials later on with the weigh-in.
Yeah.
This is going to be something special tomorrow night.
Yeah, well, we were lucky enough to go down and watch the New York Knicks the other night in Madison Square Garden as well at the start of the week, and the atmosphere there was electric too. It was absolutely packed, and you can just feel the vibe now. You know, within touching distance of the fight night. You go out on the street, people are talking about it, everyone's engaged about it. Madison Square Garden on Saturday night is going to be absolutely mental.
Yeah, you guys had a nice little night off, didn't you? You know, I had to fly down to Vegas and do the Contender, you know, and then back again on a red eye. No sleep for me. You know, you don't criticise, don't throw me under a bus. They're not saying the hardest working man in mixed martial arts. That's what they should be talking about. That's what everyone should be saying.
Mike,
they're like, oh, he likes a beer. So
he's not doing it for free, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's on more money now than when he was fighting.
Exactly. Hey, listen, mate, I will not leave a quid on the table. No way.
Right, boys, let's finish the show with a little bit of prediction. How long we got left? We've got about 6 minutes before the show wraps up. Come on. All right, we're going to go through the card, the main card. We're going to go for the predictions. We'll start from bottom to top. Kicking us off is Justin Gaethje versus Michael Chandler. In fact, I said right at the start of the show, has any of the conversations this week changed your opinion of the outcome or maybe the way that the fight will play?
No, I'm still going to stick to my guns. I went against Mike, for the crack at the start of the week, but you know what? I've said it now, and I will stick with it. I do believe it's a one-round shootout. Okay. I do believe whoever lands the critical shot first can finish the fight. Yes, Justin Gaethje starts as favourite for a reason, but I'm going for the upset. I'm going for this card to start with a massive upset to begin with. Michael Chandler, overhand right, sleeps the human highlight reel. Bang, let's go.
You are absolutely out of your mind, Nick. You are out of your mind.
Thank you.
Michael Chandler is awesome. What a role model. What a guy. He really gives back and he just handles himself with nothing but class. And I couldn't be a bigger fan of the man. But he also has a propensity for getting knocked out.
Early.
He got knocked out against Oliveira, and it's happened a few times early. If they do have a one-round shootout like that, battered Oliveira in the first round, ended up asleep face down on the canvas. Doesn't matter. No, I got Justin Gaethje all day.
What about you?
Put your money where your mouth is, Nick.
Listen, result-wise, I thought that this would be a Gaethje points decision originally. From speaking to both guys this week, I agree with what you were saying. This is fast. This is a fast fight. It is a one-round shootout. And in that moment, with what Mike's just said there about the tendency for Chandler maybe to go a little early, I'm going to go Gaethje. I'm going to go Gaethje early. We've got Shane Burgos versus Billy Q.
Going to be insane, going to be absolutely mental, but even though he's coming off a 2-fight skid, there's no way Shane Burgos in front of his own friends and family from the Bronx, it loses this fight. It'll be fun, it'll be entertaining, it may even go the distance. Burgos gets his hand raised.
Mike? Yeah, 100%. Burgos is just... He's the next level in my opinion. He really is. He's struggled some his last 2 fights, but those fights were absolutely sensational. Billy Q's great, he is, but Shane Burgos, I believe, is championship material. It's just a case about finding himself a little bit and tweaking some little things after having 2 losses. I'm sure he tweaked a few things, but that fire is still there. The same ingredients that brought him to the dance is still there. I think we're going to see a sensational stoppage. I said TKO round 2.
I'm going to go TKO round 1. Reason being, Burgos, hometown fighter, he's going to. I know that obviously Billy Q's from around these parts as well.
You're right.
But coming off the back of the energy of the fight that's just about to happen previous to them, I think he's coming out like an absolute whirlwind, mate. Round
like
1.
A bullet out of gun.
Frankie Edgar versus Marlon Vera.
Listen, I learned a long time ago never to bet against Frankie Edgar. He's been an absolute phenom, Hall of Famer, everything. One of the nicest guys that's ever done it. I'm a huge fan of Chito Vera though as well. It's all about time. And
hard to pick.
It's all about time. And listen, I would love Frankie to have that moment at Madison Square Garden. He's from Jersey, just over the way. I would love him to have this crowning moment. What a way. What I will say is, win, lose or draw, I think he takes the gloves off. Because what a way to finish his career at Madison Square Garden. And of course, if he loses, then obviously he's got nowhere to go anyway. So I think he retires after this fight. I hope he retires victorious. But I think I'm stretching a little bit. I think Chito's got to be the favourite.
Love Frankie Edgar. Love the body of work.
Same.
Love the person. Love the way he's handled himself. What a career. Hall of Fame candidate. 100% he will be in there. However, Wednesday, whatever day it was, I went to the locker room, over to the hotel of Marlon Chito Vera with Perillo. You can see the video on my YouTube. But anyway, you should see it. No, I got Chito winning. Listen,
he's your boy.
There's a reason why youth is an advantage to have. Of course, the older you get, the wiser you get, and you learn a lot of experience. But Marlon's too much for him at this stage. He's 40 years old, and as I say, far be it from me to ever underestimate or criticise Frankie Edgar. But Marlon Chito Vera,
it's timing.
Yeah, and I believe it's his time. I think 3 fights he could be a champion.
I think it'll be close. I'm going to go split decision, Marlon, for Chito. Yeah, I'm going to go. Right.
Tomorrow night, CJ Berhada.
Last guy.
Last guy? Okay,
I say last guy. Luke's still not weighed in yet. He's going to come after these guys.
Well, everyone's made weight now.
But well, you never know. One of them could get food poisoning between now and tomorrow night. Yeah.
Well, he's already called for the towel here as CJ Vergara.
It's a good sign for your UFC debut to be missing weight.
Debut first on the early prelims in the flyweight division, asking for the towel straight away, and he's last on. I'm just looking at the clock. We've got about 2 minutes.
This guy had the first round knockout in the Dana White Contender Series, Mike. Did you commentate on that fight?
I'm not sure. They all kind of blur into one, especially when you've punched in the head 17,000 times. So
From San Antonio, Texas, and he is on a 5-fight win streak. So
I think we just, there we go. We just had a little bit of a blur there, but here we go.
This suggests that the last 2 hours hasn't been calculated.
No, 100%. When they come out and they give it all this, it's like, it's panic stations.
Yeah, he's been in trouble, and now he's hoping beyond hope.
You do. And you breathe out.
It's crazy.
Believe it or not. Make myself as light as possible. Brother, it's called light as air for a reason. Your air is not going to help you make weight, and unless you've got gigantic whale-sized lungs, you can't even hold that much air inside you. But they do it. They blow out.
Missed.
To make themselves lighter.
1.4 over.
127.4.
So he's just put himself through torture for 2 hours or more.
He might as well have done
still missed, and he may as well.
He might as well just weighed in at 130 and said, you know what, I'm giving 20% up anyway. Screw those last few pounds.
Yeah.
Hey, but I respect the fact he tried.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Because that's what you want. That's what you want to see.
Yeah.
There you go. That concludes all the weigh-ins. I say all the weigh-ins. We've still got one fighter in Vicente Luque who was booked to come just to weigh in, just in case anything happens to that main event. I think we're going to see him momentarily. Hopefully we'll see him momentarily. But everybody else has come through. Early prelims, and the main event, which is most important. We've got 2 title fights, boys, in the books, ready to rock and roll. And we saw serious professionalism from everybody right at the top end of the card, because Kamaru was the first out, bang on the money, 169 flat.
Bingo. And listen, they're the last 2. We've got to talk about the two title
Well, I was going to say, come on, are we not doing
predictions? We haven't done a
predictions?
prediction for the 2 title fights.
Fish, yeah. Lads, I'm just wrapping that particular bit up.
Easy target, we're done. I
we're
need a
excited
pee.
here. Well,
Let's get a move on. We've been stood here 2.5 hours.
See, this is why I was just delaying that particular moment, because
we want to know if he's getting paid.
Right, exactly.
Vicente Luque. So he weighs in, even though the main event, both guys have weighed in successfully. Vicente Luque was paid to be on weight today as well, just in case something happened. So this is just him weighing in now, just to make sure that he does get paid. And he's making a statement as well.
Yeah.
I was ready. I was there. I was ready to fight for the title.
Well, it's not just that as well. It's keeping your name in the mix.
Yep.
We're talking about him right now. You know, because in between fights, unless you're a big,
he's
massive...
missed.
Oh, my word.
Because he's got to hit, before this fight, he's got to hit championship weight, and he's just weighed in at 171.
All right, well, that he ain't going to lose a pound now by taking his knacks off.
Knacks is a classic word. That is old school, man.
Yeah, man.
Taking his knacks off.
I love the fact that Mike's
Get
been
his
with
kecks
us.
off.
Mike's been with us this week, and he's just
No,
reverted
I know.
back to the
That's
old,
all everyone's saying. They're like, oh, Northern accent's back. You know, my wife's going to hate it. She's Australian. Whenever I go back, as soon as I get back to England, my
172.2 for
It's big.
He got 1.2 pound heavier when he took his knacks off. He was 170.
He should have breathed out.
172.2.
Yeah,
that's confusing.
2 pounds over. 2.2.
Very strange. Oh, that was a bizarre way to end the
very
weigh-in.
bizarre.
It's a very bizarre way to be the backup guy as well.
I know.
The backup guy missed weight.
Okay, 172.2 for Vicente Luque. You can see him on the screen there, one of the top middleweight contenders. Welterweight contenders, should I say. So there you have it, boys. Before, I think what we're going to try and do, we're going to try and get one of the best commentators, interviewers, and
Big John.
Or Mr. John Anik.
We'll try and get Mr. John Anik to come and join us on the show. But before we do, boys, we'll conclude our predictions.
Yes.
In fact,
I tried to get to that before, but you
well, yeah, we'd have had this done, Mike, wouldn't we? If we
you know what I
were
mean?
staying in the show.
Adam's like, no, I know what I'm doing
Yeah.
here. Now John Anik's coming. Should we just stay another hour?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
come and save the show, Mr. Anik.
Here he is.
Come on.
Let me tell you, the most professional man in the game.
Absolutely.
This guy is an inspiration to me when it comes to commentary. When you see the research that he does, the passion that he puts into the job, and the passion when he's calling the fights, it's insane. You are an inspiration to me, John.
Too kind, man, coming from an absolute legend. I appreciate the introduction, and I have to say, I was not a professional athlete, so I got to fill in the gap somewhere. And the only way I know how to do that is with hard work. So it seems like nowadays everybody's taking a fight. So maybe I'll take a fight at bantamweight at some point. But at least for now, we're leaning into the hard work.
John, we've had a lot of time at the Apex over the last 18 months. We've seen a lot of great fights last week in Abu Dhabi. Sensational, but Saturday night, Madison Square Garden, Capacity House. Oh, can't wait, can we?
I can't wait. I got to tell you, as a Boston guy, like, I don't like New York City. I don't like New Yorkers. I'm not afraid to say it, but I'm excited to be inside Madison Square Garden. I'll be wearing my Boston Celtics socks just to rub it in a little bit. No, but this just feels enormous. You know, the fact that Michael Chandler and Justin Gaethje are going to walk out there and kick off a pay-per-view just speaks to the depth of the card. And obviously, as Michael can attest, you know, we've had a lot of historical moments in this building. 2017, we saw 3 belts change hands. Bisping nearly got GSP out of there, by the way. But no, I'm excited to see, obviously, what Colby can do with the opportunity because, unlike some people, I think he is richly deserving of the second shot at the belt, even though he only had 1 win compared to Leon's 8 or 9. So I'm excited to see what he can do.
So we were talking before about Colby Covington and this. I don't know, but apparently it's kind of like a persona that he puts on. What has your interactions been with Colby this week?
So I remember one reporter dug up the fact that in 2016, Colby Covington didn't even vote in the presidential election in the United States of America. Now, that doesn't mean he is not an unabashed Donald Trump supporter, but he certainly wasn't then. So I do believe there is a definite shtick and an agenda when it comes to a lot of what we see and hear out of Colby Covington. I was telling Michael off the air, when we do our fighter meeting with Colby, all it is just dripping with respect. It's technical fight talk. There is no ego. There is no arrogance. There is no agenda. So I get to see that side of Colby, and that's obviously not the side that a lot of the masses feel. So when I say, like, I'm excited to see what he can do with the opportunity, I think most people are like, dude, no, like, I want to see his jaw broken again.
So he's doing the right thing, though, because that's what you got to do. Because whether people love you or hate you, they're going to show emotion. They're going to come and watch you fight. They're going to buy the pay-per-view. See, I've never had those interactions.
Right.
I've only had that one time on Fox Sports with that regrettable back and forth.
Right.
But so that's all I've seen. So I don't know if I buy it, but hearing from yourself, of course, I don't doubt what you're saying. So that's really interesting.
He's playing the heel, isn't he? He's playing the heel. You're either a heel or you're a heel. He's chosen the side. I'll tell you what, he's driving the pay-per-views for this show.
Big time.
Yeah, and you know, I've met like his dad and his sister, right? I've met the family, so you know, obviously, good upbringing, good dude, and what a hell of a fighter, right? I mean, what he did against Robbie Lawler in 2019, one of the singular greatest performances over 25 minutes that I've seen in UFC history. Max Holloway against Calvin Kattar's the best effort I have ever seen from a man over 25 minutes. And Colby's right there. Yeah. So if he can get into that flow state and give Kamaru something to think about, I guess my biggest concern for Colby is that he hit Usman with huge shots in that first fight, and Kamaru ate all of them. And
the chin and the power advantage all goes to Kamaru, I really do believe. Going to the other title fight, Rose Namajunas, you know, we have the fighter meetings on a Wednesday. You know, I don't expect to divulge anything particularly sensitive. But her mindset, she was so stoic yesterday at the press conference. Was there anything that stood out from your interviews and speaking to her this week?
Well, I think
that you can share.
I think it is interesting, at least with Rose Namajunas, how she flips the switch and literally goes from Rose to Thug Rose, like on Thursday. You know, Zhang Weili and her camp have been very forthcoming in terms of what they have been doing with Henry Cejudo and Eddie Cha and Santino DeFranco, showing you vividly things that they're working on in the clinch. I'm surprised that they have disclosed a lot of things that they have been working on to that extent. On the other side for Rose Namajunas, she seems to have worked on her physical strength. Like, she is as strong as ever because I think she understands that she's going to have to walk through fire a little bit this time around. She's going to have to absorb some damage. From a betting perspective, I'll just tell you, it seems like a pretty easy handicap, you know. First time around in April, Zhang Weili is a 2-1 favorite. They fought for 78 seconds, and now it's a pick'em. So this isn't a prediction, but certainly I can understand why people see value on Zhang Weili when you were paying twice the price, you know, 3 or 4 months ago.
Final one from me, John. Obviously, you've got the ceremonials later on, then on to fight night. We know what the fighters are doing. They're rehydrating and getting themselves ready for the big night. Do you have any pre-fight rituals? Obviously, it's
staying away from us. Staying away from Darren Till.
I did go to a Brooklyn Nets basketball game earlier this week, but no, I'll be hunkered down in my room. And candidly, this is the first time that I've ever done back-to-back numbered events, right? Brian Stan and I back in the day actually called fights on back-to-back nights. We did a Thursday night and then a Friday night.
Hall of Fame week, International Fight Week.
So it was the back-to-back-to-back. I remember back in the day thinking, like, can't Goldie like do Thursday, Saturday? What are we doing here? You know, but for me, I'm chasing it a little bit because I came from Abu Dhabi, little jet lag. So I can sit here telling you guys right now, I've prepped 24 of the 28 athletes, so I'm going to be hunkered down.
Yeah, because you're there the night before with your cards, scribbling it all down. I've seen you. That's why I said at the top, you are an inspiration to me, and the professionalism you bring to the game, the enthusiasm, and still you've done it for so long and so many fights, and you give the same attention to detail details. The first fight on the prelims is what you do the main event. You're the perfect man for the job.
It means a lot. You know, Michael didn't used to love me back in the day.
I
When
did.
was on ESPN UK,
you didn't like
hated
me.
me.
You didn't like me. He would slag me off all the time.
I gotta say though, I am an identical twin, right? So I have a human being who has the same DNA as I do, and he loves this man to such an extent. So you know it's true. Like, we got a lot of love for Michael Bisping, but I appreciate you saying that. And you know, it's an open book test, right? Might as well show up with some notes, right? They don't take my notes when I show up to the arena. Might as well have some.
Absolutely, John. Go well.
Thank you, guys.
Enjoy, my man.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for being on.
Thanks, John.
Listen, one of the best in the game, no doubt about it. You were right in what you were saying there. The man, to be able to call play-by-play, to then get in there and interview, to then obviously do the punditry work as well, sensational. And that is why the UFC production and your enjoyment of this on BT Sport is absolutely tip-top class. Hopefully, we've been maybe 5-10% just behind John Annie when it comes to the ability-wise to keep you entertained.
I think we're doing okay.
All right. Listen, hopefully you've enjoyed the show. It's been epic from start to finish. And
I got Kamaru.
Did we make the picks?
We haven't done the picks.
Quick.
Just tell Kamaru, who you got?
I got Rose, I got Kamaru.
I got Rose, I got Kamaru.
You got to go this way.
I got Rose, and I've got them both by decision. Are you going
I
finishes?
got Kamaru by a TKO or
Me
a
too.
knockout. I think he finishes him.
Me too.
Yeah.
Full house. I'll tell you something. The only person then in the blue corner is Marlon Chito Vina in the hand raised on the main card.
And I have to say that because if I don't, Perillo
will never talk to you again.
He'll smack me in the face or stick a glass on my head. So, you know, I'm kind of biased.
That's serious violence. Serious violence.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, thank you very much for joining us for the Wayne Show. Hopefully you've enjoyed everything that we've gone through. The big headlines is that we've got a title fight in the main event, we've got a title fight in the co-main event, and the people's main event, which is kicking off the main card, is in the books as well. It is going to be epic. The prelims get underway from midnight with that main card bringing you on BT Sport at 2 a.m. Do not miss this. It is going to be flames.
Nobody can stop me. And that's why they're all afraid to fight me. Listen, Colby, you can run, but you can't hide.
You know, I just figured it was an insurance policy to go break up Usman's open workout.
He's had huge punches.
A masterful effort out of Colby Covington.
Marty, fake news, man! We can do it right now! Where are you at?
So here he is, the champ. What do you have to say? You guys are face to face.
You're a loser. No one gives a about you. Everybody came to see me, so shut your mouth and listen to the chant. Damn, he's boring, man. I hope he doesn't open his mouth the rest of the fight cam.
It's very rare that I get to have a fight with someone that I genuinely don't care for.
Let's do it tonight. Let's do it right now. He's irrelevant, really, and after this weekend, no one's going to care about him anymore.
Once I get my hands on him, all this whole bravado, everything that he's doing is going to go out the window. I just feel my skin crawl.
Brazil, you're a dog. All you the animals suck.
I'm going to really get to show you guys what an African lion looks like.
Colby, Kamaru, you know exactly what I expect. I need you to fight hard. I want you to fight clean. If you want to touch, do it now. God bless.
Oh, man. Marty fake news, man. You got so lucky last time.
Of course, your face.
Marty fake.
There's a knockdown for Kamaru Usman. That is it. And still, Kamaru Usman.
This one is not just for me. This one is for the whole entire world right now.
He knew he could wrestle with me and striking with me, and that was his best chance, and, you know, we saw what happened there. I'm a bigger, I'm stronger, faster, and a more explosive and more dynamic fighter than he is.
Of all the superlatives.
You stay off the tracks when the train's coming through, Junior. Don't matter if it's a Trump train or the Colby train. Get out the way!
This is a prime and primal Colby Covington.
Something happened.
Colby Covington with a legacy-building win here tonight.
See what happens next time. Your best night, that was my worst night, and I
What
still
happens
beat
next
you.
time?
Speaking of spineless cowards, Marty fake newsman, Street Judas, we got unfinished business.
The reason I'm the best in the world is because my mind is stronger than everyone in the division.
Like you what from who? This is raw American steel.
There's no country that I've been in the world that I haven't had guys come up to me and tell me that they can't wait for me to kill this guy.
There's nowhere to run, and there's nowhere to hide. I'm coming for you. You're next!
Is the beef real? Yes, absolutely.
Wait till I see you next time, Marty fake newsman. You